sounds, all the goals, all the news.
This is Open All Mics from Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Welcome to Open All Mics on BBC Radio Scotland. A reminder, it's an 8 o'clock start. Aberdeen against Celtic, 7:45 kickoffs. Rangers, Dundee United, St Mirren, Hibs, Hearts against St Johnstone, Motherwell, Kilmarnock, Dundee against Ross County. Willie Miller's on Open All Mics duty for us at Pittodrie. 8 o'clock start there, Willie. A very much changed Celtic side this evening. Does that give you a wee bit more hope that Aberdeen can get something from this?
I think it does, Kenny. You know, I think it isn't their strongest side. Brendan Rodgers won't agree. Well, I think he did agree with that, but he still thinks it's a very strong side. And I think it gives Aberdeen, you know, a little chink of an opportunity here. Plus, there's nothing at stake really for Celtic. I know that's easy to say. It's easy to kind of, you know, for me to sit up here and suggest that it's going to be an easier evening for Aberdeen, but they're going to have to be, as far as Aberdeen's concerned, they've got to be better. That's what they should be focusing on. You know, isn't the strongest Celtic team that they're going to come up against. They're going to come up against that team in the final, in the Scottish Cup final. What they need is a little bit of momentum. You know, they've had two pretty awful performances, you know, in the top six. That leaves the manager saying that it's unacceptable. So when the manager's saying it's unacceptable, they've got to come up with answers, and I think that's what they'll be looking for tonight. Whether they'll win it or not, I've got my doubts, but at the same time, a good performance, I think, will help them gain a little bit of momentum. And if they can get a victory here tonight, then obviously that will give them, you know, confidence going into that, you know, a magnificent cup final at the end of the season, with a little bit more hope that they can actually do something on the day and lift the trophy.
Yeah, full coverage of that, as you'd expect, from Hampden Park right here on BBC Radio Scotland. So Willie on Open All Mics duty from Pittodrie. 8 o'clock start there. We'll hand over to our commentary option just before 8 o'clock. That'll be Liam McLeod and Peter Grant. Let's get to the game at Ibrox. Rangers at home to Dundee United. Stephen, what are you expecting from this one?
Well, it's hard to tell, Kenny. We're just underway. I think it's all dependent on Rangers, how they see the game. Barry Ferguson said ahead of the game he wasn't happy with the first half. It was quite slow, it was quite mundane from both teams, but he felt his team, once they got the opening goal on Sunday against Aberdeen, they really opened up, they showed their flair. I think Egeman brought the game to life as well when he comes on. So if Rangers keep the intensity at hand, they move the ball at speed and they try and force Dundee United back, sometimes you can just feel as if it's only a matter of time before they score. But on the flip side, Dundee United would still have a big battle in their hands. European football would be tremendous for them, just coming into the top flight last season after winning the championship. But I think they have to be brave, they have to be bold. Yes, conference has been low and results haven't been good, but sometimes you come to the big arena, it brings you alive, it ignites something inside you, and you go and produce a big performance. That's what they have to do tonight.
So Stephen Craig will bring us all the news from that one. Let's get back to the game at Tynecastle. Hearts at home to St Johnstone. Alan Preston is there for us. We heard from some Hearts fans earlier on this evening. We heard from Simo Valakari. Alan, it was a busy first hour and 45 minutes. We didn't get a chance to get the team news from you. You can put that right now.
Yeah, two changes for Hearts. Penrice, who's one booking away from starting next season, suspended, so he misses out. And Vargas is out as well. In comes Danda and Milne just as St Johnstone. One into the back post. Oh, almost. St Johnstone fans thought that was in. So the St Johnstone team will be filling in the goals. Forrester, Kent, Halkett and Milne, who comes in. Devlin, Beningame and Grant, Forrest, Shanklin and Danda, who comes in. And for St Johnstone, it's three changes. Out goes Sprangler, Ikpeazu and Sidibe. In come Kurt Griffiths and Duke McKenzie. So that's Fisher in the goals. Back four, Curtis, Balladis, Douglas and Stephen. Holt, Watt and Griffiths, McPake, Duke McKenzie in the wider areas, and Kurt up front. That's us gone.
Alan, what chance
from St Johnstone, Kenny?
Yeah, what chance do you give them tonight of taking something?
Well, they've not won at Tynecastle since 2019, but they're going to have to win tonight. But all I want is for them to be given a chance on Sunday. So whatever way that shakes and how that goes, I just want St Johnstone to have a chance on Sunday to get out of this 12th spot and into 11th. And that'll probably mean Dundee winning and St Johnstone losing tonight as well. But it could come down to the goal difference. I think at the moment St Johnstone have got one goal better off than Ross County. I would just want them to have a wee little chance on Sunday to try and stay in the league.
Alan, whose idea was it to leave Penrice out tonight? Was it Liam Fox or was it the new incoming manager, do you think?
I think it makes sense, Stephen. He's booking away with 2 games to go.
It does. I mean, I'm playing I'm playing a little bit devil's advocate with you. I just wondered, if Derek is going to take the job. When you listened to Derek McInnes' interview, it seemed obvious he was leaving. He was talking about his first day and what the club at Kilmarnock has meant. So clearly he is going to go to Hearts. So just wondered the discussions around that.
I wouldn't have thought so. I would have thought Liam's in place. Derek's got a job to do at Kilmarnock, so I think until Derek has that scarf, as I said earlier, above his head in Tynecastle on the pitch here, I think it'll be Liam Fox, and rightly so. He's done a good job, Liam, in the interim. Twice he's taken charge of the club this season, and he's done very well.
Yeah, Kirsty's a Kilmarnock fan. She'd listened to Sports Sound on delay. Great to hear Steve McGinn talking up Kelly as we'd hoped from a former player. She says, take note, Boydie. Kelly fans interviewed hit the nail on the head with their views on McInnes' situation. Kirsty says he cannot be in the dugout on Sunday. Big Jim's lad has been in touch on Twitter as well. He said, take note, I hope you're keeping an eye out for the Coppa Italia final tonight. Yes. Lewis Ferguson's captain Bologna. We're all across that one. The Ferguson family are there. We may try and get Derek on later in the night if we can. That should be fun. So a big night for Lewis Ferguson.
No chance of you getting him on later on the night.
You better get on early, Kenny. It's been a long day out there for him.
Exactly.
Better record it, I think, will be also a safer option as well, wouldn't it? Right, let's continue. We bounce around the grounds. Let's get to that game in Paisley, Rory Loy. This should be a fantastic match tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice wee moment before the match. There was a minute's applause, just over a minute, remembering all the St Mirren fans who sadly died throughout the season, the last home game of the season. So nice touch from the people here at St Mirren and the crowd. Martin Boyle, goal! He scored! Martin Boyle scored! He's opened to score it!
Wow.
He's cut inside from the left, and he's unleashed a very quick shot, which I think has caught Hemming unaware, and it's flown into the bottom corner. Advantage Hibs. St Mirren 0, Hibs 1.
Aldham unusual here. First glance, we've got all the pictures. It's not the biggest of screens. The keeper's got to be at fault there, is he not?
Yeah, first view, you've got to think that Zach Hemming should do better. But from my point of view, in terms of Richard Taylor, Martin Boyle wants to get back on his right foot. In that situation, you just have to show him onto his left foot. You let him onto his right foot, he's got the quality to go either way. I don't know if the sun's caught Zach Hemming out, but
he hits it really early, Stephen. I think it catches Hemming off guard.
Yeah, Richard, I'm just watching it again. Richard Taylor, he matches the run from Martin Boyle, but then he lets him cut in his right foot and get a shot away.
Yeah, post.
Yeah, just very quickly, Kenny, just to run through the teams. It's Hemming and goals, they're unchanged. Fraser, Gogic, Taylor at the back, Abiosu, Phillips, Boyd Munns, Idowu, John across the middle, Mandarin and Ayunga up front. Campbell and O'Hara have dropped out for Hibs. Hoylett and Miller are in, so it's Smith in the goals, Obita, Iredale, Bashiri, O'Hara and Cadden, then Hoylett, Triantis, Levitt, Boyle and Kukovic.
Alan Preston.
A good save, but I think it's Fulton, or might have been one of the defenders getting back. It's good play by St Johnstone. It comes to young McPake, who's been very lively early on, cuts inside, doesn't quite connect with the shot, takes a deflection. I think the keeper saved that. I'll give Fulton the credit.
Yeah, for the Boyle goal, poor defending and poor goalkeeper. To allow the shot in is bad enough, but then it's beaten at his near post. I think he's got a clear sight of it as well, hasn't he? So there's no real get out for the goal.
No, I think he's got to be doing better. He can't get beaten in the near post, but what I'm saying, Martin Boyle's always going to get you in those situations because his movement's great. He's so quick. You just have to do right by your goalkeeper. You have to just let him, if he's going to get a shot away, let him get a shot away in his left foot. Don't let him into his right foot.
He's too quick for me. I was looking at my team news.
Yeah, what a flying start for Hibs. They could secure third spot this evening, but St Mirren have been in good form. Certainly do not write them off. But that goal coming from Martin Boyle after just 3 minutes. St Mirren 0, Hibs 1. This seems a good point, actually, just to have a quick check-in again in the SWPL. So deep into stoppage time, Hibs ladies 4, Celtic women 2, Hearts 2, Rangers 5. They played an hour, so I'm just going to cross to the live table right now. Hibs 74 points, Rangers 71 points. It'll be a straight shootout between these two sides in the final day of the season. We'll keep you across that this evening. Also that championship playoff match, Cove Rangers at home to Airdrie. Let's then get to the game at Fair Park. Motherwell at home to Kilmarnock. Cammy Bell, what sort of reception did the manager receive?
Yeah, listen, I didn't hear too many boos at this moment in time, Kenny, when he came out. There wasn't too much activity from the Kilmarnock fans, but Killie have started this game really well. They've been on the front foot. They've put Motherwell under a huge amount of pressure there. There was an opportunity there for, I think it was Russell, who just slipped the ball in the net again. But no, they've started the game really well. It'll be positive from Derek McInnes, and there's not been too many boos so far.
Right, we'll have a look at this one. So I'm presuming offside.
He's miles offside. I think
miles off?
I don't have a good angle of it, but he looks a mile offside. I just wanted to update you that it was a goal.
Yeah.
Sometimes angles can be deceiving, but he looks offside.
Right, we'll have a wee look. Just waiting for the replay, Stephen again.
Yeah, we're just getting it. It's actually a really cultured finish from Martin Boyle. Yeah, he's offside, Rory. Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah.
Right, let's get to Cammy Kerr were a huge match at Dens Park this evening. Dundee at home to Ross County. What's happening in the early stages here, Cammy?
Not too much. There's been a few corners from Ross County. They seem to have settled quite quick in the game. Alex Samuel, known him from a time up at Inverness, he's putting himself right in amongst the Dundee centre half. So to be fair to County, they've started off with a few corners, but nothing much to report so far.
I'm thinking, Cammy, on nights like this, fitness is not a concern. This must be all about the mentality, the emotion, things that can severely impact decision making.
Of course, I thought about it obviously in the pre-match. It's like a cup final really. It's like a one-off game. That's how much is riding on tonight. As I say, it's been quite edgy, which is obviously understandable. But as you say, it comes down to mentality tonight. Who wants it most? Who's willing to go that extra bit? So I'm sure we'll see who that'll, who'll be best at that come the 90 minutes.
Yes, Stephen, again, it's about composure, it's about showing for the ball, mentality, all these things for both these sides tonight.
Yeah, I think the players will have the certain games where you prepare for where you can't get it out your thinking, and it's one that, losing this match, the consequences of it, you can't almost get it out your thinking. What it comes down to is who handles the nerves, I know Cammy says who wants it more. It's who can deal with the pressure situations, whether it's set pieces, that big chance that comes, and bits like, as a Dundee player, can there be a big chance? Can we get a chance for Simon Murray in front of goal? Because just these key moments in the game, can you stay calm?
Stephen Craig, and what sort of attendance at Ibrox this evening? There were a lot of empty seats, certainly at the game on Sunday.
Yeah, I think it feels the same, Kenny. No doubt it will come out 50,000 because people who buy season tickets, if you don't turn up, that still counts as the crowd on the day because they paid their money over the season. So I'd imagine it'll be something similar to Sunday's crowd. And I understand why at times. If you've got to travel a long distance, I know it's your team, but it's the end of the season, there's not an awful lot to play for. The game has been quite slow, it's been quite lethargic. Dundee United have been a little bit passive for me. There's been a couple of crunching tackles in their own final third, but in midfield they're not really getting close. Connor Barron's getting lots of the ball, but keeping it square. John Souttar's tried a couple of diagonal balls, so there's nothing really happening in the game. So that doesn't sometimes entice people to come and spend an awful lot of money and come and follow the team when there's nothing to play for. That's just the nature of the business that we're in. But Dundee United, they want to try and spend the game as long as they possibly can. Would you be shooting on site if you were a Dundee United player? Would you be shooting on site if you're a Dundee United player, Craigs, early on to see if Jack Butland's got a few early match jitters? But you have to get near the goal. That's the issue. They're not getting themselves up the pitch. I would imagine that will have been something to do with the team talk and see Jack Butland back and goal. But what we're now, 11 minutes in, row, and I think there was one cross into the box that was overhit. So they haven't really showed that ambition as yet. I think as long as they extend the game and the longer the game grows. Yeah, United were very poor against St Mirren, albeit St Mirren were very good at the weekend. So time now for a choice of listening. Stick with us on BBC Sounds 92 to 95 FM for Open All Mics. For full commentary of Aberdeen against Celtic, tune to Radio Scotland Extra, Digital and 810 medium wave, and both options are available online, bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. You're tuned to Open All Mics on BBC Radio Scotland. We have had one goal, a very early goal from Martin Boyle.
It's a second goal for Hibs. And it's Kukarevich is celebrating. I'm not quite sure how it goes in. I'm blinded by the sun, and a million players are back for St Mirren defending. However, it's gone in the net. I don't know if it's a deflection or if it's a shot from Triantis that hits Kukarevich, but it's 2-0 Hibs. St Mirren are all over the shop.
Do you know what? Every time I've looked at it, I say we've got all the screens coming in here, but every time I've looked at it, I'm caught by Hibs attack. It's an incredible start, Steve Miggin, to the game for David Gray's side.
Yeah, absolutely. They would have looked at the remaining fixtures, and the points they had might have been enough in terms of the way Aberdeen are playing to get them in, but get in our hands, Dave Gray would be saying, you're playing really well, let's go and get the job done tonight, let's not take it to the last game, playing so well, and go out and get the job done. It's dream stuff. What a dream start that is for Hibs.
Kenny,
how does it go in, Tom? Stephen?
We're going to get a good replay here now, Rory. We're getting a behind the goal replay. It's a harness. The goalkeeper's on his wrong foot. He's moving right. the goal
Looks very central again.
It is central, but he's on his on his wrong foot. He's moving right, and the ball goes in close to his left.
It's as if Zach Kemmins has taken a step to his right to get a look at the ball, and as he's taking that step, Kukarevich is let fly with the shot, and it gives in.
It's a harmless shot. I mean, that's a soft goal.
Weak. That's why I thought maybe it had taken a nick or something like that, because Hemmings' reaction was poor.
No. Soft. 2 soft goals, but 2 things of beauty if you're a Hibs fan.
Not good news, as you say, Willie Miller, for Aberdeen fans.
I'm just wondering how bad it's going to get. It's a brilliant start.
It'll be getting worse in a minute or two when the game kicks off for you.
Well, we're just away to kick off. That's what I was alluding to, Alan. That's what I was alluding to.
Chance for Rangers. Yeah, really good cross down the right hand. I think it's James Tavernier. Dessers goes for the initial header, flicks it on to the back post. Accidentally, and Igaman, you really feel he should score back at the 6-yard box, back across the goal. It just somehow drifts harmlessly wide. But that's Rangers, the first time in the game they've really flexed their muscles and moved the ball quick, and they've got the ball into the box early, but it's still 0-0.
Yeah, it was a half decent chance. Well, they go back to the Dons. You were chatting earlier on, the full-back areas, the middle of the park. Is there anything obvious that you can see that the manager should be doing differently in terms of tactics or even personnel?
I don't think it changes. I mean, he's got an identity, Jimmy Tilleen. It's the same formation week in, week out. He tweaks it a little bit. I think what he was talking about is maybe his experienced players taking more responsibility and the group actually coming together and realising, when you've lost that first goal at Ibrox, you don't then lose your discipline, and that's what happened. Completely lost their discipline. You've maybe got to get your 2 full-backs to sit back and just help the 2 centre-backs and the 2 that sit in front of the centre-backs just to be a little bit more cautious. But they didn't. They did the exact opposite. It was totally open play in that second half against Rangers, and it really did invite Rangers to, put them to the sword. And that's what they did. It could have been a lot worse. And I think I would say that maybe Jimmy should be trying to get that message on, but I think the experienced players have got to take responsibility as well, which they didn't do. So I would hope tonight, if Celtic score early, that you don't see that kind of openness and lack of discipline and really handing the initiative to the visitors this evening. Otherwise, we know that Celtic will take them apart if they do.
Yeah, just seen the picture. I had the O there where that was that challenge. An early yellow card for Dorrington.
Goal!
Wait a minute, goal!
1-0 to Hearts. That's an own goal by Barry Douglas, I'm afraid. It's really good play down the left-hand side. Shanklin plays it out to Milne. Really good ball right across the 6-yard box. Douglas is trying to knock it out for a corner. Knocks it into the bottom corner. Hearts 1, St Johnstone 0.
It's slick, in fairness to Hearts. It's quick, it's pacey, it's accurate. Brilliant ball into the box. Defenders had a bad touch there. But that's quite dynamic from Hearts. We haven't seen a whole lot of that this season.
Yeah, it's vintage Harry Milne. You've come to expect any Championship fans out there watching Partick Thistle over the years. It's a brilliant ball, and it's the movement of Lon Shankland. Barry Douglas doesn't know where he is. He's not sure, and he's thinking, I've just got to touch this because Shankland's going to tap it in. It turns out he actually doesn't need to. If he lets it go, it's going out, but he's made that decision, and unfortunately he's put it in his own net.
Alan, one of the first jobs for Derek McInnes to talk to Lawrence Shanklin about staying at Hearts, extending his stay there.
Yeah, I hope so. I really do. If you play him centre forward, he's terrific. He really is. I think it's 68 goals he's got in his Hearts career now, which is an unbelievable return, considering I think it's 9 this year. So 59 the years before. Brilliant from him, honestly. And I hope they do manage to get Derek manages if he still gets a job. I keep saying if he does get the job, that he can convince Lawrence Shanklin to shot for St Johnstone wide of the target. Convince him to sign on.
I believe there's an offer on the table.
Yes, so I believe.
It's not the number that Shanklin's people would want. I think Shanklin's people have been, what's the word, Alan? I think a bit ambitious, a bit hopeful.
Possibly for Hearts. Yeah, for Hearts, I'd certainly say maybe the money that they were possibly asking for was a bit ambitious for Hearts. I think no one's ever been given that kind of money at the club, even under the Romanov years, I believe.
Yeah.
So, Tom, do you know the figure? Do you know the figure?
I know the figure that I've been told.
Right. Do you think it's fair?
Yes.
The figure now, Tom's fair.
Sorry?
The figure now is fair.
I think the figure now is fair, yeah. I think it's fair. Like, you're looking at... I understand that he has an offer or offers from China. I don't think he's going anywhere near China. I don't think he's got anything else to play with here. So the offer right now Shanklin's people probably think it's not fair. Clearly they think it isn't fair because they haven't signed any deal. But I think, given that he doesn't have many offers anywhere else apart from China, I think the number is decent. Maybe they can get it up a bit. Maybe the way Shanklin has come alive in the last few weeks, maybe they can get another grand a week out of him. Maybe
I think
two.
you could make a statement if Derek could manage to keep him, if Derek keeps saying that. Oh, off the bar! Jan Danda with a shot, free kick, edge of the box, 22 yards out on the angle, goes over the top of the wall, hits the crossbar.
Alan, there's one thing that Derek McInnes...
Can I just ask... I might be wrong. See, in terms of Shanklin, I feel like obviously there's a lot of chat in recent weeks because he's playing up front, he's scoring goals. When Critchley was in charge, there was discussion around his positioning, but I don't feel like it was an absolute outcry and outrage that he wasn't playing him up front. I think that's just came since Critchley's left, or was inside Hearts, was that always a criticism of Critchley?
I think since Kabangu came in, and obviously young Wilson was on the scene as well, they were the ones that were seen more, and Lawrence was the one that was dropping into the hole trying to create. But for me, he's an out and out centre forward. He's got to play high up the park, but
no, there is. I just feel like there's a lot of noise now, but there wasn't before.
There always was when he was playing at the tip of a diamond. It was always the same. He's got his goals where he's playing as an out and out centre forward. Why would you not play him?
Oh, what a chance!
Stephen Craigan.
Oh, Sam Dalby. They've been patient. They've waited their time. I have to say, it's a really good save from Jack Butland. He's off his line very quickly. Rangers get done in the counter attack. There's an overload from Dundee United. The ball eventually falls into the path of Dalby, and you just think he's going to put it in the back of the net. He's been so productive this season, although the goals have dried up. I think it's 3 in his last 10 games, but he'll think that's a big chance. But Jack Butland, a really smart save to keep it at 0-0.
It was a huge chance, wasn't it? We'll just watch a replay now. Butland was quick off the line, wasn't he?
Yeah, Butland does great. Terrible defending for Rangers, but Dalby has to score. It's on his left foot. You won't get a better opportunity at Ibrox to open scoring than that.
And you wanted to come in...
Yeah, I was just going to say, Alan...
I know we're just... There's a delay in Alan's lines. We're trying to sort that out now, but just in terms of Shanklin...
They've scored now! It's a young boy, Harding! He's at the near post, front 6-yard box. But St Mirren losing, and now... Dundee United winning, it could be the perfect night for the men in Tangerine, or the men in white tonight as they are away from home. But it's a lovely in-swinging corner. I think it's Ross Docherty takes it. And young Harding just gets across the near post. I thought initially it was Declan Gallagher. That's the kind of run he makes, but he just gets across, gets the flick. The pace is on the ball and just guides it into the far corner. So Rangers almost fell behind a couple of minutes ago. They now do fall behind.
Right, that was a chance.
Mark Boyle should make it 3 goals to Hibs here, Kenny. He runs straight through on goal. Richard Taylor gets dispossessed by Boyle. I don't know why Gogic doesn't go across and cover. Martin Boyle's the danger. Taylor's mistake initially. Gogic is just watching him. He runs through and he forces Hemming into a good save. Otherwise, it should be 3-0.
I mean, Rory, they look all over the place, man, which is not what we've come to expect from them this season.
No, look, an early goal can unsettle you, and the game doesn't take shape. It doesn't fall it doesn't fall into a rhythm. Now you follow that up with another disallowed goal, followed by a goal. All of a sudden you're 2-0 down. Your head's all over the shop. So at 1, you just need to get a bit of calmness, a little bit of composure, and settle into the game. They didn't do that, and Hibs looked so dangerous. And I've never seen Stephen Robinson make so many mistakes within a 20-minute period than I've seen tonight.
That goal Rangers have conceded there. I mean, it's a great header from Harding. Fair play to him. Great finish. There's 2 or 3 Rangers defenders around him. None of them are doing anything to stop Harding getting his head on the end of that. It's terrible defending.
But that's something that's probably been littered throughout Rangers' season, Tom, isn't it?
Totally, Craigs. Yeah,
and the fact that now they're even more demotivated than what they were. You remember these players, put Philip Clement under loads of pressure. Barry Ferguson coming in wasn't going to change everything. He would change little bits and pieces and try and change it, but that's why we're talking about a clear out and a clean out and what needs done in the summer, because that's just lack of appetite. Every time you pull on a jersey, you have to show an appetite and a hunger in the game, irrespective whether your season's done or not. You've got to show that, and clearly not going ahead in the ball in your own 6-yard box it's criminal.
Alan Preston is back with us. Steve McGinn, I know you wanted to put a point to him about Lawrence Shankland.
No, it was just that over the years, if Derek McInnes really wants a player in this country, he's found a way to get him. He's very persuasive. He's a big man manager. He puts a lot of emphasis in if he wants a player and he gets the best out of him. You look at guys like the central striker's always been so important in Derek's teams. You think of Adam Rooney, what he did for Adam Rooney's career. When he came in at Kilmarnock, Kyle Lafferty was absolutely central to everything he did and brought Mally Watkins back. I just think the way he plays football, obviously financially, all of that going on, I think he will be all out to make Lon Shanklin one of his key signings this summer.
How much would one cost you? That's the thing. How much would someone that scored 68 goals in 3 seasons cost you? You know, it'd be good money.
Stephen, you want to go in, Stephen Cragen?
Yeah, just the fact that whenever Lawrence Shanklin was at Aberdeen as a young player, it was probably Derek that released him just to go and try and make a career for himself, and all these years later the two of them could be reunited somewhere else. So it just shows you as a young player, when a manager lets you go, you can't hold it against them. You've got to clear your head sometimes, go and work harder, and you never know, you could be back working in the game. But also, I'm backing up Rory slightly here, but Lawrence Shanklin played as a centre forward for about 20 games in the first half of the season and scored 3 goals. So it's not like it was just all to do with his positioning. He was just clearly lacked a little bit of confidence.
He was on his own.
And lacked a little bit of belief. Yeah, but he's still on his own now, Alan, as a centre forward.
No, but he's got support in the wider areas. At that time that Liam Boyce was out, Hearts were crying out for someone to help Lawrence Shanklin in the up front. Whether it be wider areas, whether it would be crying about all season. Hearts had no width really. Lawrence Shanklin was mainly up on his own, and Liam Boyce was out injured. Wilson wasn't on the scene at the moment. Kabangu wasn't at the club. There was no one up there to try and help him take the burden off him.
Forrest was
down to him on his own.
Forrest and Vargas were playing wide, were they not?
But not on a consistent basis. You know what it's like with wide players. They're inconsistent. I was one myself. Very inconsistent.
There was some commentary, Alan, about early on in the season about Shanklin that he didn't look sharp. His conditioning looked a little bit off. Do you think there was anything in that as a reason for why he wasn't Lawrence Shanklin?
What about mentally?
Well, possibly
as well.
He was away at the Euros as well. You didn't get a rest.
Sure.
I mean, this is what, and I keep going on about even the Scotland squad that's going to be announced in a couple of weeks. These guys have gone season after season. The ones that were in Germany last year have hardly had any break. They're going to have to go again. They're going to have to go till the 9th of June. And then there's qualifiers coming up at the end of June and July for some of the top internationals. They're just going to burn players out. You've got to give them a rest.
Any sympathy with that argument, Willie Miller?
I think Alan knows the answer to that. No,
I played 8 million games one season and I never missed a day's training here. I was trained 24 hours a day at Aberdeen.
What's more enjoyable, Alan? Training and messing about in 5 aside?
Cyril Dessers, what a header! Oh, Jeff, there's such a delightful cross from the left-hand side. He completely takes out the 2 Dundee United defenders, and Dessers stands still again, uses the pace on the ball. So often he's directed it past the post or over the bar. Tonight he directs it right into the top right-hand corner. It's Rangers 1, Dundee United 1.
Some header, wasn't it?
Listen, you know what I'm going to say.
I know. Go for it, look. Say it again.
Well, no, I'm a Desters supporter.
Yeah.
He gets some amount of goals. That is a brilliant header, by the way. Brilliant. The goals burden rests unfairly on his shoulders. Danilo doesn't do it. Egeman is a talented player, but he's still finding his feet. There's very few goals, apart from Shirley, there's very few goals coming from the Rangers midfield. So there's a huge burden on Dessers to score a really high percentage of his chances, and that burden does not rest on any Celtic player because those goals are distributed right around the team.
Cammy Kerr, chance at Dens Park.
Yeah, massive chance for Ross County there. Dundee on the attack with Josh Mulligan. Breaks down, it's a counter-attack from Ross County. Ronan Hale at the other end. He takes it past Clark Robertson, cuts inside Shaughnessy. And it's a great shot. I think it actually takes a nick off one of the Dundee defenders. Tipped onto the bar by Trevor Carson and out for a County corner.
Kenny, there's a possible VAR. Well, there's a VAR check going on here for a possible red card for a Kilmarnock defender. He slid in. I wasn't sure who it was. He slid in. He was kind of last man almost when Lennon Miller was running through. So this will be interesting. It's a free kick right on the edge of the box as well.
Right, just waiting for a replay to come into the...
He's going to the screen, I think. Yep.
Cam, have you got the team sheet in front? Who's that referee, Cam? I don't recognise him. Have you got a team sheet? Is it on the team sheet?
The referee is Duncan Nicholson.
Duncan Nicholson, yeah, just a new face. So he's coming over right now.
Yeah, he's over.
We've not seen a replay yet, Cammy, so we're waiting for that to come into the studio.
Can't wait to criticise him, can you, Kenny?
I'm not the worst for that. I'm goalkeepers, as you know, Rory. Right, here we are. Here's a view now. Right. Did you get a good look at that, Stephen? Tom?
I want another look.
Yeah, he's absolutely the last man. Lennon Miller's just got to the ball before Robbie Dees. I think he'll be sent off here, yeah.
You reckon it's definite red?
The only argument is whether the recovering defender's going to get to the ball before Lennon Miller. But I think the referee will send him off here.
Is it similar to the Scottish Cup?
Yeah, he's running over it.
Aberdeen players, is it? You know, he nicks against Tart when he nicks the ball, and there possibly was a recovering defender.
Red card for, I think it's Robbie Dees.
Yes,
I don't think he's got any decision. I mean, if you could trace where the ball gets and who wins that race, maybe you can make an argument. But Robbie Dees is the last man. Lennon Miller gets to the ball first. No real decision for the ref to make there.
And you know, a season that started with a ton of killy red cards is finishing with a killy red card.
Yeah, it was remarkable at the start of the season, wasn't it?
Yep.
Right, I'm going to give you something for a wee laugh here. I just saw that after that Rangers goal, it panned to the Rangers bench, Barry Ferguson, Billy Dodds there. So there's a guy on Twitter called Andy the Photo Doctor. I was looking at this earlier on. What he's done is the Rangers team, but more importantly the Rangers management team, and he's taken them back to the 1970s. Right, and you have to look at these mock-up pictures. They're absolutely sensational. That's a wee lighter moment for later.
Okay.
Have a look at that one.
You spend far too much time on Twitter.
I do, you're right, but I thought it was very funny. We all need lighter moments. Let's go back to Willie Miller. Willie, you were talking. You want to come in on Lawrence Shankland there? Just your thoughts on him.
Yeah, I think, I mean, he is a striker, but when he was at Aberdeen, they were talking about Aberdeen. He wasn't in a fit state. I mean, I think Derek had made his mind up about him. He was very... How many years ago would that be now? Any kind of idea how many years that would go when he was at Aberdeen?
It would be 10, Willie, wouldn't it?
21? Yeah, he was still developing. As a player.
That's what I mean. He was just a young player, but I'm just saying it's amazing how your career sometimes can go full circle.
And sometimes you've got to leave a club and just find your own level and rebuild your career as well, and that's exactly what he's done. But he's a striker, isn't he? I mean, we've always said that. A bit of an experiment playing him, you know, as a number 10 or in a kind of an off striker position. But it's a bit like Dessers. People moan about Dessers missing so many chances and forget about how many goals he actually scores. You know, I think you go into it too deeply, don't you? What has he got now, Tom? You'll have it at your fingertips, of course, how many goals.
2-0! Alan Forrest 2-0 to Hearts.
Going to be a long night for St Johnstone. Yeah.
It will be, and that's some negative goals with Ross County now as well, which doesn't help. But he goes across the keeper into the bottom corner, in off the post, giving Fisher absolutely no chance. 2-0.
Lawrence Shankland plays a huge part in that again. The vision to spot the third man run from Alan Forrest, just a flick round the corner, and Alan Forrest does the rest. Really slick play again from Hearts.
See the point in Dessers,
27 is the number.
Yeah. Do you not just, I mean, give the boy a break. 27 goals. I mean, who would not want 27 goals in your CV? Okay, that could be 37. Could be an extra 10, even more. But at the same time, do you not think, you know, sometimes coaches and statisticians just think about it too much? He's there to score goals. He scores goals. He's a good striker.
Yeah. Yes, he's scored in his last 4 games. He scored European goals, scored an Old Firm goal. Like, he's not perfect, but if he was perfect, he wouldn't be playing for Rangers.
John, my point was, and I spoke to someone about it the other day who lives around the corner from me, if Rangers lined up next season and they had Tavernier, Suter, Balogun, Jeffrey, Ridvan, Diamande and Dessers and Cherney, would they be happy? And they feel as if the new owners would have felt that they need better players in certain positions. And the one about Dessers, he's 30 years of age. They've spent, £5 million getting him. There could be still probably some resale value in him just now, whereas another year or so they're getting nothing for him. So if a bid comes in, they may have to look at it and may have a decision to make.
Money's going to have to be spent by Rangers, Tom, you reckon, to get back in? Because by the sounds of it, they need players all over the park to compete with Celtic.
They do, but
how much are they going to have? And are the 49ers going to give them all this money?
We don't know how much money they have. We don't know. We do very little visibility on how much money the new owners will spend. But whatever they spend, they need to get value for it. That has been the problem. Spending money has not been Rangers' problem over the last 10 years. It's spending money badly has been the problem.
You had a figure, didn't you? Was it in last week's programme, Tom? You were talking about the estimated spend.
The estimate that I was told by someone who will know the numbers is that over the last 10 years, it's a minimum of 100 million has gone into that club via soft loans from supportive directors. The equivalent figure at Celtic might be zero, it might be millions, but small numbers of millions, because they don't need soft loans from supportive directors, because they've got a brilliant business model, European money, player trading model, vast profits on player sales. They're a machine. So Rangers have been propped up by the John Bennetts and the Parks of this world. These guys shoveling money in there, and not the odd player trading, Nathan Patterson, Calvin Bassey, but not many more.
And they're talking about next month, aren't they, for this deal to be concluded?
June.
You're also, Tom, you could also be looking at Frimpong being sold to Liverpool.
Another 4 or 5 million
for a handsome
there.
sum.
Yeah, another 4 or 5 million for Celtic.
Brilliant business.
I mean, it's just they are an exceptionally. Now, look, listen, they've wasted plenty of money on players as well, but their successes are so successful that they can take the hit on a couple of guys who haven't worked out. Rangers can't afford to have any duds. They've had too many. They just can't afford it. So
it's not going to be solved in one window, Tom, is it? And I think that's what the Rangers fans have to understand. It's not going to be solved in one window, not even 2 windows.
Well, I mean,
there has to be a patience, some sort of degree of patience.
Ange Postecoglou solved it in one window, 2 windows. But that's a rarity. Like what he did, he obviously tapped into the Japanese market, and he hit the jackpot again and again and again. That is a very, very hard thing to do. But whatever money Rangers, the new owners spend, they have to spend it wisely. They've wasted too much.
I think there may be a check here at Easter Road. Martin Boyle's went through. Dylan Levitt is running the show here. Pleasure to watch. He's clipped the ball through to Martin Boyle. Hemmings come rushing out the goals. I think he said play on, taking a risk by running out and trying to tackle Martin Boyle.
Here we are.
Hibs are playing some lovely stuff going forward, I have to say.
Does he get the ball?
The referee's waved play on, so I assume he gets the ball, Kenny, but I'm not quite sure.
Just I think we do another replay. Yeah, chance, Stephen Cregan.
Cyril Dessers almost put through his own net. I'd have been so proud of that strike. It was wonderful. It was a free kick. It was just a late reaction, but I have to say, what a save it is from Jack Butland. Someone was offside for Dundee United. The flag has just gone up, but what a strike.
Almost number 28 for the season.
How many was it for you, Craigs, at the wrong end?
18 league.
Craig, see, when you're talking about patience, do you think the fans will be patient at Ibrox?
I think they say every year, Willie, they will be, and then Celtic suddenly go 10 points clear and patience goes out the window. So that's just the nature of playing in a league in a city where there's only 2 teams can win something, really. Certainly the league. So the minute they fall behind, that's when all their theories and their mindset completely changes and becomes really irrational. So I would imagine no.
Right, let's take a bounce around the grounds, get latest scores. 8 o'clock start in Aberdeen at home to Celtic. What's happening there, Willie?
Yeah, well, the possession is with Celtic. I think that's what you would expect. But Aberdeen have had a number of hits on the break. The counters have been productive, not really having an opportunity. Celtic have had through Paulo Bernardo. He's had a couple of strikes and goal. One that he brought out a save, and Mitov, another one was over the bar. So very much a possession game from Celtic. But Aberdeen are looking energetic. They're looking quite bright on the counter. Papagay's had 2 or 3 runs forward, and Keskinen's a ball carrier as well down the left hand side. That as yet no shade in Morris, but we know what he's capable of doing. So yeah, I think Jimmy Tolino will be reasonably happy, even though Celtic have dominated possession. 0-0 though.
Very decent game at Ibrox so far, Stephen Cregan.
Well, I think since Dundee United scored, Kenny, yes, it's brought the game to life. The game was kind of drifting along with no intensity, no real drive about it, but Dundee United took the lead. Rangers have equalised. Rangers have had a couple of chances since. There was an appeal there was a bar check for a potential penalty kick. I think Declan Gallagher had challenged Cyril Dessers. It's wiped away, but certainly the game is a much better spectacle. Journey's looking for the ball, Igaman's looking for the ball, Dessers looking sharp, so yeah, it's a much better game.
And one-way traffic in Paisley, Rory Loy.
Yeah, St Mirren are starting to get a little bit more of the ball now. Rocky Bushiri's had a couple of really good headers right in between the sticks defensively. Killian Phillips just whips one over the bar on the side foot volley. But yeah, Hibs are magnificent going forward. They really, really are. They work it out for the back so well. Hoylett, anytime I see Hoylett, doesn't always play, but he's really impressive. Picks up good positions. He's hard to mark. He comes off, he pops the ball back to Levitt, who's having an exceptional game. Martin Boyle can run in behind. Kukarevich can come short because Boyle's taking the defenders away. Really good balance to them, and they're deservedly 2-0 up at the moment, Kenny, I would have to say.
And the same story in Edinburgh, the home side deserving of their lead so far, Alan Preston.
It's easy street for Hearts, Kenny, at the moment, and it looks like last knockings in the Premiership after 16 years for St Johnstone. If the results stay the same at Dens, so Ross County will need to be a point to guarantee that they can't be caught either. So St Johnstone need to do something, but they're really struggling. Hearts have hit the bar, have scored 2 goals, and they're absolutely dominating this game.
What's the latest at Fir Park? Motherwell at home to Kilmarnock. Cammy Bell is there for us.
Yeah, Kilmarnock have settled in okay since that red card to Robbie Dees after the VAR check. They're sitting in, they're soaking up pressure, they're also offering a threat on the counter attack. Motherwell just need to move the ball quicker. They've had a few chances that haven't really troubled the Harry goal so far, but they'll be looking to try and press that Kilmarnock defence and try and find the opening.
Right, let's get to that game at Dens Park. Cammy Kerr was telling us earlier on, as you'd expect, it's a nervy old affair. What's happening now, Cammy?
Much of the same. County have had probably slightly more pressure. They've had 4 or 5 long throws that have not really troubled the Dundee back lot. There was a chance there for Dundee. It was a cross-come shot from Lyle Cameron, but other than the hailed chance, there's not been much to report on, to be fair.
Right, so let's just give you a rundown of the scores and how these scores affect the live Premiership table. Dundee 0, Ross County 0, Hearts 2, St Johnstone 0, Motherwell 0, Kilmarnock 0, Killie down to 10 men, Rangers 1, Dundee United 1, St Mirren 0, Hibs 2, Aberdeen 0, Celtic 0. That one was an 8 o'clock start. So if we look at the live table right now, Celtic, we know, cruising with 89 points, Rangers 72, Hibs would secure third spot as things stand. Aberdeen in 4th, Dundee United 5th, St Mirren's faint hopes of European football. You would have to say, well, they've still got a chance. They're 3 points behind Dundee United as things stand. The problem for St Mirren is they're away at Celtic on Saturday. Dundee United there at home to Aberdeen at the foot of the table. So as Alan was saying, as things stand, St Johnstone will be relegated, 32 points. Ross County 36, Dundee 38 points. Elsewhere tonight, Cove Rangers have gone a goal down at home to Airdrie in that Championship playoff final first leg. Dylan McDonald with opening goal there for the visitors on 16 minutes, and a big night of action, as we've been telling you, in the SWPL. So final score, Hibs women 4, Celtic women 2. Deep into stoppage time, Hearts 3, Rangers 5. In the bottom half of the table, Partick Thistle 1, Queen's Park 0. So looking at the table as things stand, it's going to be a final day shootout. Hibs 74 points, Rangers 71 points, Rangers with a far superior goal difference. So that's the latest scores for you right around the country. Let's try and squeeze a few then Player of the Year nominations in. So I want your Player of the Year and your honourable mention. Let's start in the studio with this one. Let's start with Stephen again. Who are you going for, Stephen?
Player of the Year, I mean, I'm sure it'll be unanimous across the board. Dyson Maida, unbelievable individual season. Honourable mention, I think I've been a big fan of his recently, the last few weeks, Rocky Bashiri.
Chance for St Johnstone, great save by Fulton. That's McPake. It's a mistake. McKenton goes through. It's a race. McPake's very quick. He opens up his body, tries to pass it into the bottom corner. Really good save by Fulton. Still 2-0 to Hearts.
Yeah, big chance there. Yes, Stephen.
Yeah, Rocky Bashiri, I mean, what a difference in performances. He's became a real leader and a huge part of why Hibs are going to be third place this season.
Yeah, Stephen Craig, and we've actually spoken a fair bit, haven't we, about Rocky Bashiri and the difference in his game. Just go over again for us what you've seen as a fellow central defender.
Well, I had him down as well, Kenny. He was the one that stood out for me, because when you look at it, he started his first league game on the 23rd of November. So that tells you how far he was out of David Gray's plans. And even when they were losing games, he wasn't getting in. I think his first start was against Hibs when they lost 4-1. I think Jordan Abita was sent off. So he stayed in the team ever since then. I just think the back three suited him, because when you play in a back four and you're just beside one centre half, when your fullback empties, you end up with fullback areas, you make rash decisions, you're a little bit uncomfortable. Whereas when you're playing a back three and he's the middle one, he's seldom out of the middle of the pitch. He simplified his game, doesn't take any risks, he's error free, all the things he wasn't before he is now. So whether the penny's dropped because he hasn't been in the team and he's realised what he's had to do, or whether sometimes as a defender you used to start to mature a little bit later, you see the game a little better, you understand it a little bit better, that's exactly what he's done. And now contract talks are in his hands, not in the club's anymore.
It's remarkable.
Because he got Player of the Year, the Hibs Player of the Year on Sunday night.
Yep.
So he will have clubs coming after him, no doubt about it. I hope he stays at Hibs because I think he's good for the league and I think he's good for Hibs. David Gray will be desperate for him to stay, but as I said, the ball's not his court and no doubt people will be looking at him. So that's why I think he's been the honourable mention.
And you would go with Maeda, I presume?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. Absolutely.
I wonder if anyone, Tom English, will deviate away from that.
I'll deviate because I'm a contrarian, and
Of course he will.
it's just easy to go.
Whoever it is, they've got no chance. Let me just tell you.
It's easy to go for Maeda. Everyone goes for Maeda. So
but never mind easy. Is he the right choice?
Listen, I have no complaints with Maeda. He's been magnificent.
However,
oh my goodness!
Right,
I thought that was in. I thought it was an own goal from Lewis Miller. He absolutely slices it at the back post, and I thought it crept in. The St Mirren fans started cheering. Oh, that was nearly a disaster for Lewis Miller. It just creeps by the post for a corner, but he's one very lucky boy, and it's still 2-0 to Hibs.
Wow, that was quite a slice. Here we go. Oh, that would have been like an absolute belter, right, Tom English?
That might nearly tucked it in the corner there. No complaints with Maeda, but I'm saying it with a slight tongue-in-cheek,
right?
But only slightly. Simon Murray, I think he's been 22 goals for a team that's been in the wrong end of the table all season. He's scored equalisers, he's scored winners. I don't know how many points his goals have accounted for. I think if you took Maeda's goals out of Celtic still win all the trophies and they still score buckets of goals.
Simon, hold off your honourable mention. Just a big chance there at Fir Park, Cammy.
Yeah, and it was a chance for Kilmarnock as well. It was a free kick on the left, on Kilmarnock's right hand side, and it was Danny Armstrong whipped it right in towards the top corner, and Oxborough just managed to claw it out. I don't know if it actually hits the post as well and keeps it out. It was an unbelievable save.
Willie Miller, goal up at Tawdry.
Yeah, it's a goal to Celtic. It's so easy. It's just a corner from the right hand side. It says clip into the centre of the goal, and it is Naroki that gets the header down. He's unmarked. It's incredible how you can give someone of his size alone that sort of a space without really being challenged. He just leaps above everyone else, and he just actually heads it with the bottom of his forehead down into the ground, into the back of the net. Poor defending, but well taken goal from the Celtic centre back. 1-0 Celtic.
Believe it or not, Willie, he probably doesn't look like it, but Keskinen's marking him, and he's marking really tight, but it's just an easy duel for Navrocki to win. He's holding off Keskinen, he's not got the physical attributes to challenge the big centre half for a header, and it's just Navrocki almost uses Keskinen to get up, and it's good play from Navrocki's point of view, but probably question should Keskinen be marking him.
Exactly. I was letting you finish with that as a question. What the hell was that? What's happening? I mean, how tall is he? I mean, he looks a massive giant. Naroki there, I don't know, 6'2", 3" perhaps, and you've got Keskinen marking.
Castle, Hearts 2, St Johnstone 0.
They've been shipping a lot of very soft goals, Willie, Aberdeen, lately.
They have, yes, none more so than at the weekend, but yeah, and you think that the two, Dorrington and Canuster are a decent partnership as well, and you're talking about they're 6'2" as well, both of them. You'd have thought one of them would have been given the task of picking up one of the two Celtic centre backs as well, but it's just too easy. But they are shipping too many very soft goals.
Only seen him a few times. I've actually thought Navrocki's looked okay. I think he's looked quite solid.
I think that's a view that Celtic fans share. Yeah. Very limited game time. You can only go on game time. You only imagine he doesn't train very well. Or Brendan Rodgers has never quite taken to him as a starting defender. But just following on for the leaky defence, the goal followed on from James Forrest, which would have been a very popular goal among Celtic fans for consecutive seasons. He missed a glorious chance to open the scoring. If Aberdeen are going to win the cup, they're going to have to tighten up.
He can be a little bit like
107 goals for Celtic this season, Kenny.
Say again?
More than the Invincible season. That's them scored 107 goals in the league this season. Yeah,
and he spoke, I don't know if you heard him at the weekend, Rory. He was talking there about setting targets to score the most home goals in a season as well. He's always setting new targets, and generally, of course, Brendan Rodgers breaks 107 goals for the champions this season. Let's get back. I think that was you, Cammy Kerr, half-time. Oh, he's away, actually. I think we just heard Cammy Kerr shouting.
Half-time at Ibrox as well, Kenny. Rangers 1, United 1.
So just waiting a few...
Yeah, I think the delay maybe be on my my line, Kenny, because I'm coming in at times where I think it's free to speak, and then other times I'm talking over, so apologies about that.
Rory, no, I'm glad you brought that up. It's something for the listeners as well. We're not being rude here. For me right now, there's a delay in your line. There certainly was a delay in Alan's. I think there's still a slight delay in Alan's as well, so it causes the guys at times to talk over each other. Just Tom English, very quickly to finish your points. You're going Simon Murray for Player of the Year. An honourable mention?
Yeah, Simon Murray, just to be different. And my honourable mention, just to be different again, is Triantis.
Oh, good shout. Yeah, he
He's been terrific. Motherwell 0, Kilmarnock 0.
Thanks to Cammy Bell there. The wayside down to 10 men. We heard from some Kilmarnock fans ahead of the game. They didn't want Derek McInnes in the dugout tonight. They certainly don't want him in the dugout when they will play Hearts on Sunday.
We've got a problem in the South Stand here.
Right.
The game's been stopped. I think it's a spectator, Kenny, that's taken ill. The medical staff have sprinted across the pitch to the far side where the police are there as well as the medical staff. So it looks as though that there's one of the Aberdeen fans is suffering some kind of a medical emergency, and the game actually has been stopped. They're over below me down at the dugouts while the medical staff and the police attend to a fan that seems to have collapsed.
Thanks, Willie, for that update. We'll keep an eye on that, and of course send our best wishes to the fan involved there. We'll maybe get some news on that later in the programme. So that game is delayed for now. It was an 8 o'clock kick-off at Pittodrie. Celtic with the opening goal there. Navrocki with that goal on 31 minutes. Still playing in Paisley. Rory Loy, maybe a bit better towards the end of that first half, but overall it's been disappointing from the home side.
Yeah, it has. Since the 2 goals, Hibs have very much played on the counter-attack, but there's ways to win football games, and they're very, very dangerous on the counter-attack, and they've threatened St Mirren, and everything that Stephen Craigan was touching on about Rocky Bushiri and Stephen McGinn is rung true in this game. He's made one mistake, and when it was when he was dragged out wide because Lewis Miller was out of position. He got dragged into the right back area, didn't look particularly comfortable. Out with that, he's defended brilliantly. He's got them up as a back three, and yeah, they've looked comfortable, I have to say, Hibs, and they've played some really good stuff going the other way. They haven't dominated the ball, that's been more St Mirren, but Hibs look by far the more dangerous side, and as I said, they're worthy of their 2-goal lead.
Thanks to Rory Loy there. So just to confirm for you what we told you earlier on in the SWPL, it's gone right down to the last day. So victories this evening for, let me just bring the table up, victories this evening for Hibs, and a victory of course for Rangers as well, as we told you earlier on. They won away at Hearts, Hibs winning at home to Celtic. So as things stand, it's going down to the final day. Rangers at home to Hibs. Hibs need a point in that game. If Rangers win, they would be level on points, 74 points apiece, but Rangers have the far greater goal difference, so it'll be Rangers titles, so all to play for on the final day of the season in the SWPL. There is one game, one playoff match tonight. It's the Championship final first leg, and it's Cove Rangers 0, Airdrie 1 in that one. The goal coming from Dylan McDonald after 16 minutes. They have played 28 minutes in that match up there at Cove Rangers. So still just waiting for the game in Paisley to play out at half time. We've got that delay, it's still ongoing up there at Pittodrie. There's option of commentary on that one. Liam McLeod is alongside Peter Grant. Willie Miller, of course, on open all mics duty for us on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. You've seen pictures coming in of the benches, of course, looking very concerned there. The medical teams trying to help out with that fan in the stand there. So let's just wait for the half-time whistle to go in Paisley. It's been a dreadful start to that game for St Mirren. They've still got an outside chance of getting into Europe as things stand. Dundee United 51 points, St Mirren 48 points. A goal difference exactly the same, -8 goals. Dundee United at home to Aberdeen on the final day. That is, of course, Saturday for the teams in the top flight. St Mirren, they are away at Celtic. Even a much changed Celtic side winning this evening away at Aberdeen, but that game is still delayed. Seeing the referee Steve McLean over speaking right now to the Celtic manager.
Chance, goal for St Mirren.
Right,
the back in it, and it's Richard Taylor on the half volley, takes a deflection, goes into the back of the net. Great time to score. St Mirren 1, Hibs 2.
Yeah, game on there now, Steve McGinn.
Yeah, big goal. Richard Taylor first to react in the box. Really good set piece from St Mirren. They work it to the back post, and he's just alive. He's the one on the move, the big centre half. I think David Gray will be really disappointed in the manner they give the free kick away in terms of the timing, so close to half time. But absolutely game on back in Paisley.
Yeah, you would expect that fight from Stephen Robinson's side. Yeah,
they're not going to lie down.
No,
Stephen Robinson's team. They're not going to lie down at all. They're right back in it now. And this, this is. We're watching it again.
Possible offside.
Oh.
All right, I don't see.
Didn't see one myself.
It must be Marcus Fraser at the back post, but I've got to say we had an angle, camera angle that showed that Marcus looked well onside.
That angle there is not helping us at all. Oh. Is it saying possible offside?
Yeah, so it comes over the tannoy, but St Mirren and Kilmarnock can be quite bad for announcing it and then literally a half a second later announcing that it's play on and everything's good. So we've still not had confirmation whether the goal stands or not yet.
Push by Marcus Fraser.
St Mirren work a block, which you see at corners, at free kicks. It's more likely to be that than offside from the bits we've seen.
Yeah, well,
wait. Clearly said offside over the tannoy.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I think he may be. So let's have a look. I think he's offside, isn't he? Stephen, you had a chance to look at that when that ball's come in?
That is a better angle we've seen there. This could be offside.
Yeah.
That angle there, that tells you everything.
Right, so just waiting on that. It's a big moment. Stephen Robinson, arms folding the touchline there in the sunshine in Praise. It's a glorious night right across the country. It's a great night for football, so we're just waiting. But I think this one will be ruled out. The ball's coming into the box now. Yeah, he looks clearly offside, doesn't he? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not maybe.
No.
The only hope is Chris, from a St Mirren point of view, is Chris Cadden at the front area. He's the only one that might have played Marcus Fraser on, but it's definitely one that's going to be tight.
Right, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to announce a split again. The commentary team came back with us there because Willie told us about the emergency in the stands there at Aberdeen and everything is okay with that fan there. So a choice of listening again. Stay with us on BBC Sounds for Open All Mics, 92 to 95
Goal
FM.
given!
Oh. Right, goal given. I'm going to have to see that one again. My eyes must be deceiving me. Right, so full commentary of Aberdeen against Celtic. Tune to Radio Scotland Extra, digital 810 each way. Both options available online. bbc.co.uk/Sport Scotland. Right.
I think it's Chris Cadden, the man. It's hard for us to tell in terms of the angle we've got. I'm assuming VAR have obviously got a better angle, but I think it's Chris Cadden plays him on at the far side.
And that's
listen, obviously the angle that we have is deceptive.
Yeah.
Because it does look offside.
Doesn't it? Yes.
But listen, they have more angles than we have. Better angles than we have. So,
absolutely.
You got to go with that.
So 45 plus 5, that goal given. St Mirren 1, Hibs 2. Richard Taylor.
For Aberdeen.
Willie Miller.
Kevin Nisbet. Papagay down the left-hand side. He just lifts the ball over the Celtic defenders. Kevin Nisbet is there, rises above the two centre halves and nods it into the back of the net. A nice easy nod. He just guides it past, not a bullet header. It's one that is precise. He shouldn't really be able to do that from the position that he's in. Neither should Papagay be able to get on the ball as he just lifts it into the middle of the goal, and Kevin Nisbet equalises.
What have you made overall of the Aberdeen performance in the first half, Willie?
It's been okay, Kenny. It's been okay. Obviously that was quite a long break, and I have to say the fan seems okay. Quite a young fan taken away in a wheelchair, but he seems okay, and that maybe disrupted Celtic a little bit. Certainly they looked as though they had switched off. Aberdeen's been okay. They've been okay. Celtic have had the majority of the chances. Bernardo, 2 opportunities. Yang, a header, should have done better with. James Forrest, as Stephen had mentioned there, that he should have really they brought out a save. He kind of drags it by the post. It looked an easy position to hit the target. He didn't do that, but Aberdeen have looked dangerous on the break, and they continue to look dangerous on the break, and obviously that equaliser have given them a huge lift.
Yeah, I mean, you have to really poor defending, but Kevin Nisbet took full advantage there with that goal. So one apiece at Pittodrie. So what we'll do, there's still the commentary option, of course, from that game in Aberdeen, but on Open Mics right now, we'll get around the grounds and get the half-time reports for you. So stay with us. Open Mics, BBC Radio Scotland.
The Scottish Premiership.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
You're listening to Open Mics on BBC Radio Scotland, so let's get the half-time report from the game at Ibrox. Rangers are home to Dundee United. There for us, Stephen Craigan.
Indeed, Kenny, yeah, there was a real lethargic feel about this game early on. It just lacked energy, it lacked intensity, it just lacked any kind of vigour. Although, just before the quarter-hour mark, Iggy had a header at the back post. Lovely cross from James Tavernier on the right-hand side. Cyril Dessers helped it on its way. Iggy back a 6-yard box, headed across goal. Unfortunately for him, just drifted wide. A couple of minutes later, Glenn Middleton had a kind of half volley with his right foot, not a stronger foot, just into the basket of Jack Butland. And then it was the visitors who actually took the lead after 20 minutes. Sam Dalby initially went through one-on-one, pulled a really smart strike, but it was Jack Butland just kept it out with his right hand. Suddenly from that corner kick, in it came, and it was young Cleol Harding, his first senior goal for Dundee United, only his third start. He's only 19 years of age, got a header at the near post and guided it in past Butland in the goal. It only took Rangers 5 minutes to get level. It was Cyril Dessers once again with the goal. I have to say the cross from Jeffrey was absolutely magnificent, right onto the head of Cyril Dessers. He just used the pace on the ball and powered it into the top left hand corner of goalkeeper Edwards, who was making his debut tonight, his league debut for Dundee United. Dessers then almost was the villain, other end of the pitch. A wide free kick into the box. He stuck out a left foot, fizzed the ball toward Jack Butland's goal. He then had to react and tip it over the crossbar. Diamande had a strike just before half-time. It just fizzed wide. So the game got better the longer it went on. Let's hope for more in the second half. Half-time here at Ibrox, Rangers 1, Dundee United 1.
Thanks to Stephen Craig. And just a quick update from the Championship playoff final first leg. Cove Rangers have equalised at home to Airdrie. Mitch Megginson with a goal on 35 minutes. Let's get to the game in Paisley. Real drama late on in the first half there. St Mirren home to Hibs. Let's hear from Rory Loy.
Yes, indeed, quite the game here in Paisley with so much on the line, and Hibs got off to a flying start. It was a Martin Boyle snapshot from the edge of the box. It flew into the net. However, I do think on reflection, Hemming, maybe caught out by the sun in his eyes, or the players in front of him will be slightly disappointed when he sees it back. But Martin Boyle did put Hibs 1-0 up after 3 minutes, and it was doubled by Kukarevich on 10 minutes. Not a dissimilar type of shot, which went by Hemming in the goals once again. Much more difficult this time to show any sympathy. I think he definitely will be disappointed with that one, but Hibs doubled their lead and looked very, very dangerous in the opening 15 minutes. The game did start to swing a little bit more in St Mirren's favour as the half wore on, but it was more possession based. Didn't really threaten Hibs, and Hibs still looked the more dangerous team on the counter attack. There was a lot of crosses into the box for St Mirren, which were easily dealt with by Hibs. However, in 41 minutes, Lewis Miller did not deal with a cross very well, and very, very nearly found the back of the net at the wrong end as he sliced a clearance just past the post in front of the Hibs fans, who agonisingly watched it go the right side of the post for them and the wrong side of the post for St Mirren. However, St Mirren did get their goal back on 45 plus 5 minutes. It was a free kick in the wide area into the back post, headed back across goal. Taylor volleyed with a left foot, took a deflection into the back of the net. After a delay for a VAR check for offside, the goal was given, and that makes a half-time score here in Paisley: St Mirren 1, Hibs 2.
Thanks to Rory Loy. Let's then get to the game at Tynecastle. Hearts at home to St Johnstone, and hear from Alan Preston.
Well, we've just kicked off for the start of the second half. Kenny, Hearts lead by 2-0, and St Johnstone had the first chance. Josh McPake cut inside, and his shot was well saved by Ryan Fulton in the goal, but that Hearts took the lead in 17 minutes. It was really good play by Shanklin to Milne on the left-hand side. His cross was turned into his own net by Barry Douglas, trying to flick it away for a corner, but could only put it into the back of his net. Jan Danda then had a free kick which crashed off the top of the crossbar, but in 31 minutes it was 2-0. Shanklin with a lovely flick into Alan Forrest, and his shot went across the keeper into the back of the net. McPake had a chance again for St Johnstone to try and reduce the deficit. He was clean through with the keeper to beat, but Fulton stayed big and made a really good save St Johnstone made a couple of changes at half-time. They've brought on Carey and Sprangler, but as we sit, they're going down tonight, unfortunately. Hearts 2, St Johnstone 0.
Yeah, we'll run down the live table for you just shortly. Let's get to the game at Fir Park. Motherwell at home to Kilmarnock, and hear from Cammy Bell.
It's Motherwell 0, Kilmarnock 0. A first half of not too many clear chances. Kilmarnock started the brighter of the two teams, but not really troubling Oxborough in the Motherwell goal. Bruce Anderson had a header that was straight at the Motherwell goalkeeper, easily saved. But the big talking point was on 29 minutes when Lennon Miller was played through on goal and Robbie Dees fouled him. Duncan Nicholson flashed the yellow card originally, but was advised to go over to the screen by VAR to check, had a look at the screen and changed that yellow to a red card. Kilmarnock adjusted well to going down to 10 men, frustrated Motherwell, but it was 44 minutes when Danny Armstrong had a free kick from the right hand side. He whipped it in towards that top corner, looked as if it was going in all the way, but Oxborough produced a brilliant save to keep the teams level to go in at half time. Motherwell 0, Kilmarnock 0.
Thank you to Cammy Bell. Let's now hear from Cammy Kerr. He's at the game at Dens Park, Dundee at home to Ross County. Let's get the half time report, Cammy.
Yeah, not too much to report. Ross County probably had the better chances in the game. They had a header from a corner 6 yards out, just went over from a Fete, along with the Ronan Hale chance. Dundee on the counter a few times, did look dangerous, but no clear-cut chances. There's been two substitutions at half time. Dundee have made a change with Adewumi going off and Scott Tiffany come on, and also Lopatas coming off for Ross County and Jonathan Tompkinson coming on, and that's the second half just underway at Dens.
Good stuff, thanks to Cammy Kerr there. Let's get to the game at Pittodrie. It was an 8 o'clock start. Aberdeen at home to Celtic. There was, of course, that medical delay in the stands. Thankfully, as Willie told us, hopefully things are looking okay there for that fan. What's the latest on the field, Willie?
Yeah, Aberdeen have reacted well to getting that equaliser, Kenny. They've had a decent amount of possession. Papagay is actually making quite a huge contribution, both on the ball and off the ball. And they've had a little bit of control of the ball and tested Celtic on a number of occasions, getting a couple of corners, as well. But Celtic's had the majority of the chances. Johnny Kenny had a header from the corner from the left-hand side, just off the post. I think it took a little deflection, then deflected off the post as well. So Celtic's still a threat going forward, but Aberdeen looking, much more livelier than they have done in the last two games and getting that equaliser. 7 minutes added on during that stoppage as well. So that Aberdeen goal was down at 42 minutes, but obviously we've got quite a bit to go yet, maybe another couple of minutes or so of this first half, and as it stands, 1-1.
Thanks to Willie Miller there. So as things stand, looking at the live table, Hibs would secure third spot this evening. It gets really interesting if things do stay the same. That's probably unlikely, the way things happen in Scottish football. But Aberdeen, 54 points. Dundee United, 51 points. St Mirren, 48 points. So Dundee United are home to Aberdeen, the final game on Saturday. If United win that game, they would go above Aberdeen, because as things stand, 3-point gap, they're both on -8, but of course United, by winning that game, will go level on point and will go better on goal difference. But a lot to play for looking at that, but things really looking bleak for St Johnstone at the bottom of the table. As things stand, they will be relegated this evening, and then it's a straight fight between Ross County and Dundee to avoid that playoff spot. Dundee 38 points, Ross County 36 points. So stay with us on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. All the action to come on Open All Mics.
All the grounds, all the goals, all the news.
This is Open All Mics from Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
You're listening to Open All Mics on BBC Radio Scotland. So let's take a wee bounce around the grounds, just looking at all the pictures coming into the studio here. All the games seem to be underway in the second half. Bar perhaps maybe that game in Paisley, there was a delay there. So let's get to the game at Ibrox. Rangers are home to Dundee United. The thing that Jim Goodwin will be furious at, Stephen, is that after getting that opening goal, a really important goal for them, they conceded equaliser within 5 minutes.
That's right, Kenny, but also I think what will please them on the flip side is they haven't capitulated and rolled over and conceded a second goal, and suddenly they're chasing the game. Of course, they have no idea, the players and the management, of what's going on at St Mirren, so that's out of their hands. But I think when you're in a bad run of form and confidence is low, you get yourself ahead, then you concede. Rangers up the tempo. They were much better after they got the goal. Dessers was lively, Igman was lively, Tavernier, Jeffrey, they were pushing forward an awful lot more. So they had to defend their box, they had to defend strongly, resolutely, and they did. I still think they're lacking a little bit of belief going forward. They just need to trust themselves a little bit more. Ross Docherty coming in with Alan Campbell there. So the second half have started a little bit better. They've got players up the pitch. They've got a long throw from Will Ferry. They're trying to get people in and around the Rangers defence. So you'll be delighted that they went ahead. Okay, disappointed they've equalised, but they're still well in this game.
Celtic score.
Yes,
Yang gets it this time, but it's brilliant work from James Forrest down the right hand side. Absolutely magnificent, helped by a poor pass from Leighton Clarkson, but once he got it, got the head down, just dipped the shoulder to the left, took it to the right hand side, hit the byline, drilled it across the face of the goal, and there was Yang at the back post. They slot it home. I think it was Yang, yeah, I'm sure it is. You can check that out for me in the studio.
Yeah, just having a wee look now, Stephen, again.
Yeah, it's Yang, but Willie's spot on. It's vintage James Forrest. It's what we've seen over the years. He's so good at it. When it looks as if he's moving freer than he has maybe in the last year or two. He looks really fit, and once he gets going like that, he's got the quality at the other end to pick out Yang.
Big chance here at Firhill, Kenny. It was a ball in from Stephen O'Donnell on the right hand side. It was right in towards the back post. Tony Watt was there, and it was a great save from O'Hara in the Kilmarnock goal. He was only all of 2 or 3 yards out. He managed to spread himself and collect the ball. Big chance for Motherwell.
Yeah, great save. He's got the score there. Just a wee update, because we mentioned it earlier on. A listener got in touch in the Coppa Italia final. AC Milan 0, Bologna 0. Lewis, that's half-time score. Lewis Ferguson is captaining Bologna this evening in that cup final. The Ferguson family are over there. Let's hope it's a good night for all concerned. We're bringing the full
here as well, Kenny. 2-1 to Celtic.
That was brilliant from Forrest there. I mean, he goes at the defender, he kind of slows a little bit, and then he goes again, and then he puts the cross in.
We've seen it before
a million times.
So many times.
It never gets old. He's still got it. You know, on a given day, he's still class.
To the cup final.
What are you doing in cup final day, by the way?
I'll be playing golf at Royal Dornoch.
There you go. That's okay. I'll be enjoying myself.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, Willie, aren't we? Scottish football showpiece.
Football fan should be.
Yes, looking forward to it. And a fair play to Aberdeen.
Well done, Aberdeen, on selling the ticket.
Just going to say that, Alan. They sold really quickly, didn't they? 20,000.
I think it was.
Yeah, brilliant. Really good.
Were you being genuine there, Alan, or were you being a little bit sarcastic?
No,
I think it's sarcastic about the semi-final. No. You said enough about the semi-final.
No, I'm saying that the final is really good turnout, you know, and it was good from Aberdeen and Dave Cormack to say, listen, we'll take the burden if they don't sell out, and the Aberdeen fans have responded brilliantly.
Good.
Yeah, full coverage of that one on Sportsound a week on Saturday. Aberdeen against Celtic in the league game tonight. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2. That goal right on the stroke of half-time from Yang, giving Brendan Rodgers' side the lead there. We have the latest scores. Let's give you the latest scores from the games are now just finishing in the SWPL. So earlier on, Hibs 4, Celtic 2, Hearts 3, Rangers 5. Final day shootout, that will be between Hibs and Rangers for the title. In the bottom half of the table, Partick Thistle 2, Queen's Park 0. 49 minutes played in that game. And elsewhere this evening in the Scottish Championship playoff final first leg, it is Cove Rangers 1, Airdrie 1 in that game. The opening goal coming for Airdrie from Dylan McDonald on 16 minutes. Mitch Megginson equalising on 35 minutes. They have just hit the half-time mark in that game. So let's then get back to the game at... let's go to Cammy Kerr up there at the game between Dundee and Ross County at Dens Park. Cammy, I mean, you said earlier on it's a nervy affair. Who has been on top? Who's been the better side so far?
Certainly in the first half, County were probably the team looking to take the game to Dundee, but the second half's been so tentative again. The game's been played in the middle of the pitch. There's a lot of turnovers. It's scrappy, just trying to turn. Both teams are trying to turn each other's defence just now, so there's not even been a shot really on goal. As you say, two teams that look incredibly fearful of making mistakes, so nothing to report so far on the game.
Thanks to Cammy Kerr there. So as things stand, looking at actually, I'm just going to welcome back listeners who have been tuned into the commentary from Pittodrie. We'll get back to second half commentary option from there in the next 10 minutes or so. Let's just get then to the bottom of the table. As things stand, St Johnstone relegated. County 36 points, Dundee 38 points. The final day fixtures in the bottom half are this Sunday. Kilmarnock at home to Hearts. There's definitely a story to be looked at there, not in terms of league positions, but the position of Derek McInnes on that day. Ross County are at home to Motherwell, Tom English. St Johnstone, they are at home to Dundee. Now, Saints, as things stand, could be gone at that point. So you think an easier game perhaps for Dundee. Mind you, Ross County, they're up against a Motherwell side. I'm not going to say they've got nothing to play for, but they are safe. But this, as things stand, for that 11th spot is going right down to the final day.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be a nerve jangler for clubs involved, and it gives us something. I know we don't want to wish this.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
We want a big crash bang wallop finish to the league season. We don't want everything settled. It won't be. So
Ken, I think irrespective of what happens, Ross County's game will be alive at the weekend. Is that right?
Yes,
because if they draw tonight, then they still have to beat Motherwell and hope that Dundee don't beat St Johnstone.
Yeah, that's right. 2 points in it right now, Stephen. You're correct.
Goal it Dens!
Yeah, go, here it is. Cammy Kerr.
Goal. Scott Tiffany for Dundee off the left. The Ross County wing back caught with a ball inside of him. It's greatly played from Lyle Cameron. Takes a touch, slots it to the goalie's legs. 1-0 Dundee.
That is a huge goal, Steve McGinn. It was a lovely finish.
A huge goal, but a brilliant goal. I mean, two young Scottish players. Well, Tiffany's not as young, but Lyle Cameron, brilliant vision. He's played it. I know Cammy's saying fullback. As a fullback, he'd be looking at his position, but Lyle Cameron's just put it into Scott Tiffany's path. And a bit like the James Forrest one, once Tiffany's in full flight, he just rolls it under the goalkeeper. Brilliant goal from a Dundee point of view.
He's timed his run beautifully, hasn't he? And right into the corner. We're just seeing it here now. So the pass coming through, fantastic. Good strength from Tiffany there. Actually, he could have been brought down by the county defender, but that goal, Tom English, that changes everything.
Yeah,
right now.
Chance for the Saints.
Yes, Alan.
There's still a little chance for St Johnstone then.
Yeah, there is, Alan. You're right, because the goal difference is so tight. So that is a chance for them. Just apologies, a slight delay on Alan's line. Also a delay in the line in Paisley for Rory Loy. So we're not talking over each other deliberately. That is a massive goal, though, for the home side at Dens Park. And Tom English, to be fair to you, said before the game he fancied Dundee get the job done tonight.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, they're leading. They haven't got the job done. But it was a lovely way to pass and a lovely finish in a game so tense.
Tom English, the tipster's Cooten's looking healthy.
Aye. Tom, you want to say anything about that?
Well, listen, what's seldom is wonderful, lads. You know what I mean? But listen, you know what they're like. You know what this league is like. All of these results could turn around very quickly.
But Alan's right. It keeps things very much alive for St Johnstone. They're 3 points behind and exactly the same goal difference.
You wonder, does the mindset change for St Johnstone in terms of trying to get the result better? Do you say we can't afford to concede any more goals here? You wonder what the mentality is. I know what Simo Valakari probably thinks, but it's an interesting one.
Stephen, let me just tell you, he's made a positive change. He's brought on Uche Ekpiezu. And he's taking hold off, but there's an effort from Shanklin. Oh! Wait till you see this. It's almost, 1 yard, 2 yards inside the St Johnstone half. Brilliant effort. He sees the keeper off his line. He goes for it. The keeper scrambling back just wide of the target. Brilliant stuff.
Brilliant effort.
He did that at Tannadice, didn't he, for United? Was a few years ago, didn't he?
He did, yeah. That was a magnificent.
That one was his right foot. This one was his left foot. And that is so close. What an effort.
He's smiling the smile of a guy who knows that could have been special. I wasn't a million miles away.
Also known he's maybe adding a few figures to that new contract coming his way.
That's almost one of those £1,000 you were talking about on his wage there.
But it just shows you that he's got his mojo back. When you're trying one from the halfway line or not far off it, this guy is he's got his momentum back now.
It's nice seeing someone enjoying his football again, because there's one thing. Lon Shanklin played, whatever you think of where he should be played, he did it to the best of his ability, and he looked so frustrated that he couldn't add goals to the game while Neil Critchley was in charge. And it's nice to see that, as Tom said, that swagger back.
Right, let's get bounce around the grounds again. Let's get to the game at Ibrox. Rangers at home to Dundee United. What's happening, Stephen Craigan?
Yeah, the second half's been a little bit flat, Kenny. Almost mirror image of how the first half started, although Rangers almost had a really audacious goal. It was a long goal kick from Jack Butland. I think Ross Dockery headed it back to the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper was waiting for it to come into his area, and he waited so long that Dessers actually nicked it away from him, but Dessers tried to get the shot. It was cleared off the line by Will Ferry. So when the game is going nowhere, Rangers almost got themselves in front, but it is still 1-1. I don't know if either manager will look to make subs. I think Jim Goodwin will probably be happier than what Barry Ferguson is, but yeah, Rangers a little bit of huff and a puff in the second half, but just lacking a little bit of quality.
Yeah, thanks to Stephen Craigan there. So looking at the live table again, we're going to do that all night because there is so much to play for. Aberdeen, as things stand, 53 points, and United 51. So if United beat Aberdeen at Tannadice on Saturday, they will jump into 4th spot in the table, but still plenty to play for this evening. Let's get to the game in Paisley. St Mirren at home to Hibs. What's happening, Rory?
Not a lot. Hibs started the second half really well, similar to how they started the first. Martin Boyle with his twinkle toes nipped by a few defenders and dragged a shot just wide. They've had a corner and a couple of long throws, but other than that, there's not much to report. Just looking at talking about Ross County and Dundee and all the teams down the bottom, having been involved in the playoff system from a championship team, it does favour the Premiership side, but I have to say, if it's going to be Ross County, if I'm Livingston or Partick Thistle, most likely Livingston given the score in the first leg, I'm looking at that going, Ross County potentially lost 8-9 on the bounce. I would have to say this will be the first year, if that is the case and it is to be Ross County, that I would probably fancy the Championship side over the Premiership side, given that poor form.
Yeah, the guys in here are nodding their heads.
Absolutely agree. They're in free fall and they're just hanging on here. Nearly conceded another one there. They're just hanging on.
Did Libby beat them in the Scottish Cup earlier in the season? Am I thinking of the wrong season altogether? Possibly I am, but I know certainly Ross County's record against Livingston, having done some of their TV stuff now over COVID, their record against Livingston, Ross County, is very, very poor over a number of years. So that's something Davy Martindale, I'm sure, will tap into, because some of those players are still there.
Yeah, Livingston were out of the cup, didn't they, to St Johnstone, that wonder goal, wasn't it? The Carey wonder goal was in BBC Scotland, I think, that game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Rory, see when you're on, let's have your Player of the Year and honourable mention.
Player of the Year
again, almost.
Right, Alan, we'll go to you quickly first.
Yeah, it's a really... It all starts. St Johnstone have got a corner. Lauren Shanklin chests it back to the keeper, then he's on his bike. Forrest gets the ball thrown to him. And honestly, Shanklin's up the other end. He's playing with a man in confidence, hits it just wide.
Rory, Player of the Year and honourable mention.
Yes, Player of the Year, Dyson Maeda. Not a lot I can add to what the guys have already said. He's by far and away the best player in the country. I have to say, I disagree with a lot of what Peter Grant said at the top of the show. I think his deliveries into the box on Saturday were unbelievable. I think he's got 10 assists for the season, and either should have been on the end of a few. Moving on to my honourable mention, I think Dundee United, I watched a lot of them in the early season. I think Vico Savelj, having played 38 games this season, a couple of goals, played in centre midfield and centre back, has been an absolute standout for them.
And actually, Tom, remind me, it was a busy old day, and it seems a long time ago. Was that who the United fan went for? Was it Savelj, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah,
and we picked our team of the week, a team of the season a few weeks ago, and had Chevelle in the middle of the park. He's done well. He's been terrific.
Sorry,
right.
Kenny, I was just confirming I wasn't going off my head. Actually, Livingston beat Ross County 3-2 in Dingwall in the Scottish Cup earlier in the season, so they were certainly not fair going up there to play. Absolutely not.
That seems about 5 seasons ago, by the way.
I know. I think they've actually done it a couple of seasons, Tom. That's why it stuck in my mind. I think they've done it last season. Well, they done it when Derek Adams was in charge.
Do you know,
remember him?
It's felt like listen. No matter how many times in this studio when we had a wee point go through playing the trails, and every trail finished with a Derek Adams, and I kid you not, I don't know about you guys out and about, we did. But I can tell you it's the same. I mean, that, Kenny. Honestly, Leanne in particular in this studio, every single time we didn't tire of it. Do you know what? Seeing Saturday, let's dig out one wee bit just to finish us off. So what do you think?
You know, I mean, look at Ross County now. I mean, maybe Derek was right all along.
Right, let's dig that one out. Alan Preston, Player of the Year, honourable mention.
Dyson Maeda, like everyone else, and James Penrice. I think he's been the best left back in Scotland. I think he's he's been consistent defensively in a side that struggled. His assists have been tremendous. So for me, James Penrice, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was in the Scotland squad, which gets named in a few days.
Good shout there from Alan Preston. Let's get to Cammy Bell. Who would you go for, Cammy?
Mine's just got to be the same as the guys. Dyson Maeda. I think he's an exciting player. He's been brilliant. I think he's improved. His end product's improved this season, so he's mine. And I would say Nicky Cadden. I like him every time he plays with Hibs. Again, when Hibs were struggling, I've seen his energy, his enthusiasm, his quality he's got for the team. So I would give him a mention as well.
Great shout, Cammy. Definitely the best left-sided player in the Edinburgh this season.
Is there a delay on my line still?
Yeah, good shout there from Cammy and from Stephen again. Cammy Kerr, who would you go for?
Yeah, same as the guys. It's no surprise I'm Dyson Maeda as Player of the Year, and I agree with Cammy Bell as well. I think I wrote down at the start of the show, Nicky Cadden's been excellent for Hibs. He came in, I don't know if it was the January transfer window, and he's really galvanised Hibs. He's a player that's obviously went down south and came back, and he's came back a much better player, and that's not giving him a discredit to what he was before, but he's really helped kick Hibs on, and he's a major part of what they've done this season. Yeah,
it was last summer that he signed, and actually if we think about a game being a catalyst, we keep going back to that game, the late equaliser against Aberdeen. I think if we think it's a player being a catalyst, I know what you're saying about Bashiri, but I think when Cadden got introduced to the team, things also changed for Hibs. So some great shouts to the
guys. His attitude, Kenny, though, that's what I've seen. I can always just remember his facial expressions, his attitude. He's willing to win the game of football, and just his energy, it was great.
Yeah, he's been a terrific sign, and we'll get Willie Millers in just a few seconds' time. Willie is up at Pittodrie for us this evening. Time for a choice of listening once again. Stick with us on BBC Sounds 92 to 95 FM for Open All Mics. For full commentary off Aberdeen against Celtic, tune to Radio Scotland Extra Digital and 810 Media Wave. Both options available online, bbc.co.uk/Sport Scotland. You listen to Open All Mics on BBC Radio Scotland. As I said, Willie Miller is at Pittodrie for us. The second half just about to get underway there. Will, let's have your shouts then for Player of the Year and honourable mention.
It's a Celtic double for me. One has been outstanding this season, and the other one is just outstanding every season, every time he walks onto the pitch, and that's Callum McGregor with 8 goals this season. It's maybe a little bit disrespectful saying it's an honourable mention, because he's too good for that. But he would be my number 2.
Well, my prediction of Simon Murray, or my selection of Simon, it just shows you yet again that I really am a one-off.
In more ways than one, Tom.
Yes.
In more ways than one. And listen, we don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, you're different.
I think you just lock yourself away sometimes at the weekend in a dark cupboard, Tom, and just do your do what you need to do in terms of
that's every day
being the scribe.
Listen, you got the big story in sports down on Saturday night.
Look, I mean, it's easy to go for Maeda, and of course Maeda has been absolutely brilliant.
It's not easy, Tom.
It is.
It's in your face. It's you've been asked a question, so just give an honest answer, and he's been absolutely outstanding.
What about Simon Murray? 22 goals for his team that was almost relegated.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's been brilliant too, but Maeda's been better. You're beaten.
He's an easy option.
Tom,
easy option.
Know when your time's up.
Easy option.
You've been told.
Well, listen, I have a world of respect for Maeda, brilliant. But Simon Murray, his goals have been more important than Maeda's goals.
What about the Celtic performance
Celtic
tonight?
Fans now are throwing things at the radio.
Of course. What about the Celtic performance tonight? Much changed team there, Willie.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. But Aberdeen haven't been, far off it. But Celtic have had a number of opportunities, Kenny, and obviously they got the 2 goals as well. So, you're talking about Bernardo having a couple, Yang having a header. He should have, I think, found the back of the net. He didn't. James Forrest had a big chance. Stephen was talking about it. Huge chance. He just dragged it with his left foot past the post. Johnny Kenny hits the post as well from a corner. So you get the kind of a message, don't you, that Celtic have been dominating, they've been in control, they've created opportunities, but Aberdeen haven't been out of it, and they're showing a lot of energy, quite a lot of belief as well. They managed to get the goal back just after that 7-minute delay as well, so there's still life in this Don side. They're pushing hard, and certainly a lot better than the game on Sunday.
Willie, we heard from some angry Kilmarnock fans at the top of the programme, so I'd love your thoughts on this. If Derek McInnes, if the deal is done, I shall get you just 1 minute. Is that a chance, Silver?
Yeah, a massive chance at Fir Park. It was a ball into the box, and it's a great header, but what a save from O'Hara. It's come back. I think there's actually been an offside given. but a huge chance for Motherwell. They've been knocking on the door the last 10-15 minutes. Kenny, they just can't find that breakthrough.
Yeah, another good save there at Fir Park. Willie, so if a deal is done, or even if it's not done, it was announced after the weekend, but we all expect Derek McInnes to be the Hearts manager, and we heard the anger there from some Killie fans saying they don't want him in the dugout.
It's got to be. It is. It is. It's the third goal for
nice.
Celtic down at the other end. So calmly taken. It's Luke McCowan, I think, isn't it? That takes it down the right-hand side. It's cut back to him. He just stops it. He's got too much time, though, hasn't he? I mean, he's got so much time in the box. You've got to be looking at one of your two central midfielders to pick him up, but he takes it calmly, takes a little touch and strokes it with the right foot into the back of the net. Too easy for me, but a wonderful goal for Celtic.
Another assist for James Forrest.
Well, it'll be a good wee day out next Saturday for you.
I mean, well, Peter Grant said earlier on that right now for him, Celtic have got the best two teams in the country, he said, when you look at the strength and depth. And he's made a lot of changes tonight.
And it's a lovely composed finish from McCowan. Forrest has done this numerous times during his career, particularly, you know, as the years have gone on, to finish the season powerfully. He did it last season to get into the Euro squad. He's done it again this season.
He was a game changer last season, wasn't he, in terms of the league?
Absolutely he was.
Yeah.
The guy, like...
Fantastic.
They're going to check for a penalty here in Paisley for a handball in the box. Oh, they've done that thing like I said earlier. 32 seconds later, they just wave play on.
Right,
apologies.
I'm going to go back to Willie in just a second. I think I may see someone coming in with some support for Tom English. Yes, indeed. Here we are. Right. Yes. I'm just asking who he's. Matthew has got in touch.
Is it Matthew Murray by any chance?
I was going to say that's not a surname Murray. It can't be.
No, it says Matthew.
Matthew English.
So here we are. Another good point. Matthew says, take Maeda out of Celtic, they win the league still. Take Murray out of Dundee. Actually, he's a Dundee fan. We are relegated comfortably. No brainer, in my opinion, says Matthew.
Yes, Matthew, you and me, we understand this game. The rest of them,
make him player
not
of the year.
Not
it just makes him an important player for Dundee. That's what it makes him.
It's a massive chance at
Tom, you're feeding at the bottom.
Chance at
Dens.
Come
back, Nisbet's on it. Right. No, he doesn't get the strike.
Can he care? Chance at Dens.
Yeah, it's one ball in behind from County into Alex Samuel. I don't know. I think in the Clark Robertson's just went down in the aftermath of that. Alex Samuel cuts it back to Ronan Hale on the run, and he balloons it from about 8 yards over the stand into the Bobby Cox stand at Dens. It's a massive opportunity. There's actually two Dundee players down with what I think is cramp just now.
Yes, another chance here for Todrick.
Johnson have got a goal, and what a goal. We've seen him do it time and time again. Graham Carey with a free kick 25 yards out, outside the wall, into the back of the net.
Equaliser for St Mirren.
Right, brilliant goal there at Tynecastle, and another big goal in Paisley. Rory Loy.
Yes, indeed. It's Adola who breaks down the left-hand side. He crosses it in, and I think it's Conor McMenamin who gets to the end of it and turns it into the net. They're now on top, St Mirren, and it's St Mirren 2, Hibs 2. Tom's draw predictions looking strong.
He's all over it tonight, is Mr. English. Do you know what, Stephen McGinn? And we keep talking about Stephen Robinson's side, and they've got so much more, but see the grit. But see when they're 2-0 down, this never looked likely.
No, absolutely not. And impact, you talk about impact, James Forrest late in the season. What an impact Conor McMenamin's had. Really decisive.
Possible offside.
Yeah, I was a bit worried about that in the lead up to the goal. I think McMenamin could be offside, but what an impact he's had in the late stages of the season.
So Ken, there's a penalty check here at Ibrox.
Right.
Dessers was actually brought down a couple of minutes ago. He was appealing for a penalty, wasn't given. Now Diamandis went down. The referee Callum Scott has got the finger to the ear.
Barry Ferguson arms.
Oh, he's coming for a look. He's coming for a look.
Right.
They were certainly adamant that Dessers one was. Dessers was walking about like a spoiled child, throwing his arms in the air and pointing at the referee, and Diamandis went down. I think it was Will Ferry that may have been a little bit late on the tackle.
Right, OK, so we have got St Johnstone back in the game at Tynecastle. A fantastic goal there from Graham Carey on 74 minutes. We have got a VAR check in Paisley.
Penalty's been given.
Penalty has been given at Ibrox. A penalty to Rangers. We've heard that one before. Let's get back to the game. Rory Loy in Paisley. I can see the manager there, Stephen Robinson, hands in his pockets. It's a nervy old way. We can see the fans. Great pictures coming into the studio. The home fans there. This is a big moment, Rory.
Yes, it is a very big moment, because you would imagine with the momentum they would have if this goal was given, that they could potentially go on and win it. Hibs do look dangerous on the break. Kieran Bowie's just on, and Stephen McGinn is talking about the impact that McMenamin's made. He's literally just on the park. He came on the same time as Bowie, and Martin Boyle had a great chance to slip Bowie in. He overhit the pass. That could have been 3-1 to Hibs. St Mirren up the other end, and they end up scoring the goal potentially that takes them back on level terms, but we're still waiting here.
I think McMenamin's slightly ahead of the ball. I think that's...
he's pulling Mark O'Hara and Martin Boyle in for a chat, the referee, which...
this could sound maybe like a VAR issue, maybe.
Yeah. Fourth goal for Celtic. Really good work down.
Goal given in Paisley, 2-2.
Right, okay, goal given in Paisley, 2 apiece here. We'll get to Willie in just one second.
Johnny Kenny goal for Celtic.
Right, Johnny Kenny goal. We'll get Brendan Rodgers clapping his hands here. Let's get to penalty at Ibrox. Stephen Craigan.
Yeah, indeed. I thought it was going to be James Tavernier, but it's actually Cyril Dessers who stepped up for the penalty kick. He has a little pause. Goalkeeper's jumping about in the line. Octopus arms trying to put him off. Has the wee stutter. Puts it past the goalkeeper. Sends him the wrong way. Rangers 2, Dundee United 1. Cyril Dessers.
Can I just throw in a fact? I'm not putting any context around this.
Right, okay.
Cyril Dessers has now more league goals than Dyson Maida.
Does that make him player of the year then?
I'm just throwing it out there.
That makes him second, I think, in Tom's eyes. Right.
Oh, what a chance for St Johnstone.
Right, Alan.
Oh, it's all right. The flag's gone up. Late flag. There's a header. Franchek running across the front. Duke McKenzie with the ball in, but the flag goes up. St Johnstone are maybe sensing a bit of blood here.
Yeah.
A chance for them, 2-1 down.
Right, Willie Miller, a fourth goal for Celtic in Aberdeen.
Yeah, it's game over, and Aberdeen ripped open again. It's all fine and well taking the game to the opposition, but you've got to keep it tight in the back, at the back, and Aberdeen haven't done that. Luke McCowan down the left-hand side hits the byline and flips it across the face of the goal for Johnny Kenny to come on to and simply nod it into the back of the net. So, Aberdeen looking pretty much down and out. They've shown a bit of energy tonight, Kenny, but they haven't shown the discipline necessary to compete at the top level. Same as the second half down at Ibrox, and just a repeat here at times where they're totally open, allowing Celtic to go by them with ease and hit the byline. And once a player hits the byline, really difficult to defend, and that's happened on too many occasions. So it's 4-1 to Celtic.
Yeah, 4-0.
How's Kenny done tonight, Willie? I'm quite interested to know how he's done, just as a former striker.
Goal of Fir Park.
Yeah, it's a goal for Motherwell.
As well.
It's whipped in from O'Donnell, and it's Luke Anderson on the end. It heads it past O'Hara. 1-0 Motherwell.
1-0 Motherwell. Another goal, Stephen Craigan at Ibrox.
Yeah, I have to say it's terrific play by Rangers. Really good counter-attack. John Suter steps out from the back, feeds it through to Václav Černý. Nico Raskin runs beyond Černý. Dundee United are opening down the left-hand side. Declan Gallagher comes to the ball. Raskin runs beyond them and fires it into the roof of the net to make it Rangers 3, Dundee United 1.
Yeah, they are cruising there at Ibrox, and the home side now on top at Fir Park. Cammy Bell.
Yeah, again, it was a brilliant ball in. Kilmarnock have been trying to soak up the pressure with 10 men. They've just been sitting back. O'Donnell gets the time on the ball just to get his head up. It's a great ball in the box, and Luke Armstrong just peels off his defender and heads it in. Brilliant goal.
My goodness, incredible scenes in Paisley. Rory Loy.
Conor McMenamin sprints through on goal. He's wiped out by the defender, and I think it's Mandaron who goes round him and taps it into the back of the net. However, I don't know what's going on here. The referee has stopped the play. I'm not quite sure. Everyone's perplexed, looking around. The ball was rolled into the net by Mandaron. It looked like a good goal to me. Just waiting to see why the goal has potentially been ruled out, or what the referee's thinking.
Stephen Robinson,
it's a great ball from O'Hara initially.
Stephen Robinson is fizzing on the touchline there. I don't know what's going on. He's pointing at the fourth official there, Steve.
You just hope the referee hasn't blown early for a foul.
Oh, right.
Clearly onside.
The ball's going all the way back to the halfway line, so I'm not quite sure what's going on here. I mean, Mark O'Hara played the ball unchallenged through to McMenamin. He's given...
What has he given?
Explain to Stephen Robinson here. Looks like he's given Hibs a free kick as Stephen Robinson is booked.
Yeah, he was going absolutely ballistic there. He's still doing it. He is. He's furious. He is absolutely fizzing there, the St Mirren manager.
Any chance of getting a hold of Derek Ferguson? Bologna are 1 up.
I've just seen that in Doyle with the goal there in 53 minutes. We'll try and get Derek pre-recorded in the programme later on tonight. He's over there for that Coppa Italia final. Lewis Ferguson captaining Bologna. They are 1-0 up against Milan. 53 minutes, that goal. So where should we go now? So we need to get some clarity on what's just happened there in Paisley. The game is moving on, so we'll ask for that from VAR HQ. So we'll bring you that as soon as you hear. It's also important for the fans as well. After the game, we've been in that game, they don't know what's happened. We'll give some clarity on that one. Just confirmation of a couple of goals, getting a great bullet header from Luke Armstrong at the back post. Motherwell 1, 10-man come on at the Rangers 3, Dundee United 1. Quick fire goals there. The third goal coming from Nicholas Raskin there on 75 minutes. Alan Preston, what's happening through there in Edinburgh?
St Johnstone are going for it. They're throwing men on, as Simo Valakari does. It's still 2-1 to Hearts. That brilliant goal from Carey, and it's because there was a lot happening, Kenny, but what a touch of class, and how many times has he done that? And every club he's played for, he's been magnificent. And that is some ability on that left foot that he's got. 25 yards, culling it outside the wall, beating Fulton comfortably. It's given St Johnstone a little squeak here. They've got a lot of the ball. Hearts are hanging on, but it is still 2-1 to the home side.
Right, let's get to the game at Dens Park. Another massive match this evening in terms of that fight, that scrap at the bottom of the table.
Oh, what a chance!
Right, Alan.
Oh, for St Johnstone again. Duke McKenzie fizzes it across. I think it's McPake coming in at the back, is it?
Just having a wee look here, Alan.
Is it Stevenson? Is it? Let me see. I think it is. I think it's Stevens coming in at the back. Taylor Stephen coming flying in. But it's a brilliant ball from Duke McKenzie across the 6-yard box.
Yeah, he's got his head in his hands there at the back post. It was a massive chance. Let's get to the game at Dens Park. Dundee at home to Ross County. What's happening now, Cammy Kerr?
The game, there's still nothing in this game. Dundee have scored and not really went to go again for a second. They've almost sat into a degree. County haven't threatened too much, though. They've not went in fifth gear and really went to go for it as such. We're obviously heading into the last 10-15 minutes now. They've brought on Jordan White to go up top with Alex Samuels, but no clear-cut chances. It's not been the most entertaining of games, to be fair.
Talk to us about the atmosphere in the stadium, because John Robertson was describing it at McDermott Park, Cammy, on Saturday, talking about how nervy it was. Has it got the same feel there tonight?
Yeah, it does. There's that anxiousness. There's Dundee claiming for a penalty but waved away. There's that nervousness. You can almost sense it in the crowd. But there's nothing really to be nervous about so far. There's not been any goalmouth action. Dundee are happy to sit and keep the ball, and County aren't really pressing or going at them with any intent. So the game's not died to death yet, but certainly looking for a wee bit more from Ross County to press the gas on this one.
Yeah, well, I just want to come back to you just very briefly. I was asking earlier on your thoughts on Derek McInnes. We heard from some angry Kilmarnock fans here earlier on. Of course, Killie against Hearts, the final game on Sunday. What do you think Derek McInnes should do if a deal is done or almost done by then? Should he sit in the stand, or should he say, no, I'm a Kilmarnock manager until the end of this afternoon and I'll be in the home dugout?
Well, I think he told us earlier that he'll do what he was told. That sounded quite surprising to me. Knowing Derek, he's going to do what he's told. But you know, for me, I think once you've made the decision, you're better away. You're better gone. I think, you know, fans. I think they've been pretty respectful. I don't know how respectful they'll be at home if he's in the dugout for the last home game. But for me, once you're finished with a club, you should just go.
Right, goal.
Yeah, it was a brilliant bit of play. It's the second goal for Motherwell. There's a couple of 1-2s on the edge of the box, and Slattery just guides it round the hard into the far corner. A brilliant finish, 2-0 Motherwell.
That was a lovely finish here. So Motherwell cruising against 10-man Kilmarnock there at Fair Park. The pictures coming in of the home fans. Huge celebrations for them there. Cammy Bell, I think you're in agreement with Willie. Shouldn't be in that home dugout on Sunday, should Derek McInnes?
No, for me, and again, this was all. Listen, it means not a lot to Kilmarnock, but certainly it just puts a dampener on things going into Sunday's game, and the fans won't be happy. Their manager's leaving, and I just don't think it's the right fit. I think Derek just sits up in the stand, and then again, if he wants to go on the pitch and applaud some of the fans that are willing to stay and applaud him, then do that. But yeah, I don't think it's right he's in the dugout for the game.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, but all the Kilmarnock people that we've had on have all saying the same thing. They don't want him on the touchline, and not after tonight either. This is a sore one for them. Another red card, obviously, sparked off the what will now be a defeat for them. But this is it's a kind of a messy end for Derek McInnes at Kilmarnock, I have to say. Yes, they survived, But it's been a very, very poor season. Another poor night tonight on the road. Maybe it's best if he just sits in the stand and, as the boys say, just if a few fans want to thank him for what he's done, fine. Otherwise, just move on.
Yeah, just looking at the Callum Slater, that goal coming through. Stephen McGinn, 83 minutes, second for Motherwell. Actually, two nice finishes here.
I'll tell you what, St Johnstone are really pushing here. 5 minutes to go.
Yes, Alan.
Another corner, they've hit the side net, and again, really good play from them down that left-hand side. McPake again has been a constant threat the whole night, cutting inside from the left. And his ball's fizzed across. It's another corner to St Johnstone. They're piling men forward as Valakari does. Still 2-1 though with 3 minutes to go.
Just watching the two games here, Alan, there's a whole lot more coming from St Johnstone than there is from Ross County.
That's a good point.
They're on the front foot, St Johnstone. They're really having a go. Ross County, they seem to be going out meekly.
Tom's bit of jinx and Simon Murray as well, missing that one-on-one. He just had
I know. I know.
I think Dice Amaya would have scored it.
Yeah.
You still plenty to debate that.
Kenny, so there was a substitution here at Ibrox. It may be the last time the Rangers fans see Vaclav Černý on the pitch at Ibrox. Barry Ferguson took him off with 10 minutes to go. He stood for a minute or so himself and applauded the fans around. So I don't know how much you can read into it. Of course, a lot of uncertainty around who's staying, who's going, who's coming in, who's even going to be the manager. So it could be the last time the Rangers fans see him on the Ibrox turf.
Stephen Craigan, let's say it's £6 or £7 million. Should Rangers do that deal?
I think that's a lot, Kenny. I think if you're getting it for 3, I think if you're getting it for half that, you bite your hand off. There's times this season he's been really good, and there's other times he looks so uninterested. And in the games you're talking about, Rangers struggle to break teams down and teams sit deep. He's the one player you have to go to. And at times earlier in the season, he didn't have enough interest for me. There are other times he lights games up and he scores goals, but we'll be talking about inconsistent wingers. Can they afford to spend £6-7 million on a winger? I'm not sure.
Yeah, again, Motherwell are just ramping up. A couple of 1-2s at the edge of the box, and Armstrong just smashes it towards goal. It takes a slight deflection and goes flying into the back of net. It's Motherwell 3, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, an absolute doing there for Derek McInnes' side at Fir Park this evening. We're still waiting for some clarity coming through, aren't we, from that disallowed goal?
Yeah, nothing.
Paisley.
I think instead of sitting in the stand the weekend, maybe he should sit at home, Derek McInnes, based on this drubbing.
Yeah, I think this is a sore one for him tonight.
The media team, Kenny, are saying it was a foul just on the halfway line, which obviously the free kick was given, but this is where if the referee thinks that's a foul, you don't let the play rage on for the next 30 seconds to a minute until there's a goal. You don't re-referee the game like that. What you've got to do is be brave enough to make the call at the time if you think that's a clear foul. You don't rely on VAR at that point if you can see it's a foul. And then the goal goes in, he gives the foul, and he's almost reliant at that point. So, as far as I'm aware, it was a foul on the halfway line. I didn't see the foul myself, so I can't say whether it was or it wasn't a foul. However, it ended up in the back of the net, and the goal was ruled out, so it's still 2 each.
It wasn't part of the replay that we got, so we can't say whether it was a soft foul or the right decision. What it does throw up, obviously, off the back of the Nottingham Forest strikers incident at the weekend is there going to be clear direction for the referees that if they're absolutely sure a decision's right, then just make the decision and not let play move on in that situation?
There's a big reception for somebody. Is it a substitution? Is it someone getting a run out or something? I'm hearing something somewhere.
Yeah, no, it's at Fir Park. It's Lennon Miller taking away. He stepped off the pitch, and there was a big reception from the Motherwell fans here. So I think they're anticipating movement.
This is not a nice challenge here on young Wilson at Tynecastle. Both players are lying down. Have a look at this one. Certainly yellow.
That looked ugly. Just a quick goal update in the Championship playoff final. First leg, Cove Rangers 1, Airdrie 2. Airdrie back in front thanks to Lewis Strapp with that goal on 63 minutes. Get another wee look at it here, Tom. This was probably not too bad.
Yeah.
He pulls
on the ball, isn't he?
He pulls out. I think he knows the defender is Barry
yellow
Douglas.
Card anyway, Barry Douglas, yeah.
Yeah, it's the right decision.
Right, so that third goal for, just going through the scores there, that third goal for Motherwell, second of the night for Luke Armstrong. Motherwell 3, Kilmarnock 0. We'll hear hopefully from Derek McInnes after this game. We'll have to ask him, surely, what his thoughts are, given what some of the Kilmarnock fans said before the game, what they think should happen on Sunday in his final game, and how perhaps that now has changed. He might be more on board with that, given that performance from his team tonight at Fir Park. Well beaten there, albeit they were down to 10 men fairly early in that game. So Dundee 1, Ross County 0, Hearts 2, St Johnstone 1, Motherwell 3, Kilmarnock 0, Rangers 3, Dundee United 1, St Mirren 2, Hibs 2, Aberdeen 1, Celtic 4. Still a fair bit to go in that one this evening, Willie Miller, but we touched on this at the top of the programme. The recent performances from the Dons have got to be of huge concern.
Yeah, and this one in particular, you know, with the cup final coming up as well, you know, going on the back of it's looking like at least 4-1. Aberdeen haven't really done much since that fourth goal went in. It's been Celtic that's been dominating possession and creating the opportunities. So yeah, it's not been a great run for them. Obviously the two games before, and certainly the second half against Rangers was depressing, to be perfectly honest, and they've been rather open tonight as well. Again, Kenny, you know, you would have thought against Rangers, Celtic, teams that have got players that can put you to the sword, then you've got to kind of address that and not leave yourself as open. But they've been open again tonight, and still open at this moment in time.
Well, what position do you think Graham Shinney will play in the final? Do you think you'll keep him at left back with the way the game's gone tonight, or do you think you'll move him back into centre midfield?
I don't think he'll go back into midfield, no.
And just because Jack McKenzie, the one thing Jack McKenzie is a really good one-on-one defender. Aberdeen have asked their full-backs to go really a one-on-one situation all night, and James Forrest has had a brilliant game, but Graham Shinney's got absolutely no cover.
No, he isn't, but you know, Jack McKenzie's leaving the club at the end of the season as well. Do you put him in?
So's Jamie McGrath.
Who do you leave out? Yeah, but I don't know if Jamie McGrath will start. He's been a bit part player, and certainly Jack McKenzie's been nowhere to be seen other than on the bench recently. So I don't know what's going on there. Whether there is a little bit of conflict, and you've got to maybe put that to bed. I understand that and play the strongest side, but I don't know. He would have to change. He would have to put three in the midfield, I would think, if you're going to put Shinney back in there. And he hasn't made any moves to put Shinney in there since moving up to left back. So I think it would be an unusual decision in my book for him to do that. I mean, he's got Polvara as well, who I think's a decent player, quite a strong player. Palaversa, Polvara, Clarkson would make a good three. I just don't know if he's got the legs for in there. He runs up and down, certainly at the left back position. He's full of energy. He does get exposed defensively. I would agree with you there. But I don't know if Jack McKenzie would be the one to come in.
Yeah, Celtic once again showing their strength and depth this evening. Let's just get quickly to a couple of these really important games that are about to finish. There's also a very important game in Paisley, but that's a wee bit behind. So let's get to Dens Park. Dundee at home to Ross County. Cammy Kerr is there for us deep into the closing stages. Cammy, what's happening?
Yeah, there's 6 minutes added. I think we're probably 1 or 2 into that now. Ross County flooding the Dundee back line with direct free kicks and stuff. But still no shots at target. On target, Dundee will be happy to defend crosses all day. And again, there's another one cleared away by Billy Cometio. So yeah, still 1-0. Dundee look quite comfy without County pushing too hard, but as I say, probably 3 or 4 left to go.
Cammy, how concerned on what you've seen tonight, and we know the run of form, the dreadful run of form they've been on, how concerned should Ross County fans be from what you've witnessed this evening?
Yeah, I think they probably should be. I mean, the big thing for me is obviously
what a penalty!
They've not been scoring goals.
It's not.
Yeah, Cammy.
Yeah, they've not been scoring a lot of goals, and it's the body language for me. They almost look like they're defeated tonight. There's nobody galvanising each other. There's nobody getting round their teammates to keep pushing for an equaliser. It seems like they've almost accepted that they're in that playoff to me.
Yeah, they're in a poor state. Listen, we had a Ross County fan in the programme on Saturday night, hugely concerned at the situation. A penalty shout there at Tynecastle and Preston.
Yeah, Uchek Paisley goes along the byline, he goes down, but it's not, it's a corner. And just as I say that, the final whistle goes, so St Johnstone are now praying that Ross County don't score up at Dens.
Yes, thanks, Alan. So a slight delay in the line there. So St Johnstone, 32 points. They still have hope, as Alan said, as long as Dundee hold on for the win at Dens Park. We've just heard there from Cammy Kerr and that, and probably 4 or 5 minutes of stoppage time to go there. So Dundee, as things stand, they'd be safe 40 points. Ross County 35, St Johnstone 32 points. And the goal difference, minus 29 for County, minus 28 for St Johnstone. So Saints would have a chance in the final day of the season. That comes on Sunday. So all to play for still for St Johnstone, you would think. And fair play to them, it sounds as if they've had a decent go at it in the second half there. Let's get to the game in pace. A wee bit behind Rory Lloyd. We've seen some amount of drama in this match.
Yeah, we have.
Massive decision at the end. I think there's a penalty to County.
Oh my goodness. Right, hold fire, Rory Lloyd.
Motherwell 3, Kilmarnock 0.
Right, thanks, a comfortable victory there. So I can see pictures of Simo Valakari on the pitch there at Tynecastle. He's not going to like the sound of this. Cammy Kerr, has a penalty been given?
It's been given. I think it'll go to review. To be honest with you, I turned away. I didn't see anything. There was a cross come in the box.
What?
I think Nick Walsh has gave
no way
a handball against the Dundee player. I can't literally see what's going on at all.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. The ball's come in. Your ball's come in, Cammy. A Dundee player's hand has gone up. There has been contact, but there were 2 or 3 players quite close together there, weren't there, Stephen?
Yeah, there's a flailing arm. The Dundee player's headed onto it. Looks like his own player's hand, but it's so close to him. There's no. It's going away from Dundee's goal. Oh man!
Here we are. Better replay now. I mean, what on earth is it?
No.
What's he meant to do there?
He's back to it. His arm is out, but it glances off his hand. But the proximity issue here, you know.
And Rory Docherty's head will fall off if this is given.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. He's been fizzing the last couple of weeks. He's pacing about, hands in pockets.
It's been confirmed, I think, that it's definitely a penalty. I don't know. He keeps pointing to the spot, Nick Walsh. He's telling everyone to get out his way.
Yeah, you're right. He's pointing to the spot.
Yeah. Ronan Hale will step up and take it. I can't believe that's been given by what you guys are saying.
Yeah, right. So Ronan Hale. I mean, this moment right now, Tom, as we look at the live table as things stand, 2 minutes ago, St Johnstone had some hope. This penalty here could wipe it all out. St Johnstone could be relegated in the next 30 seconds here on Sports. And Ronan Hale over the penalty kick. Cammy Kerr, big moment. We're passing this one on to you.
No problem. Whistle goes. Ronan Hale steps up, smashes it home, and it's 1-1. Dundee 1, Ross County 1. It's massive, this goal. Absolutely massive. The Dundee players turn away in disgust, rightly so. I can't believe that, but what a goal. What a massive goal for Ross County that is.
Yeah, Tony Docherty throwing his hands in the air there on the touchline. As Rory was saying, he's been furious in recent weeks. Rightly so a couple of weeks ago, I'm not so sure last weekend, but here we are. That's a great penalty from Hale, isn't it, Stephen? Smashed it.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the right idea. Real pressure penalty, high pressure, and just smashes it. Sends Trevor Carson the wrong way, but wow. Penny for Tony Dock's interview after the game.
Right, do you know what, we must
I'll
get
pay a lot more than that. That is like a sensational moment. The controversy around that is going to be off the scale.
Are they checking something, Cammy?
No, I think Docherty, Tony Docherty's having a go at the referee. He's going wild, and to be fair, I probably don't blame him on that. It's restarted. Dundee obviously flood the bodies forward, and they're in at the other end. Cleared by County just.
Full time at Ibrox, Kenny. Rangers 3, United 1.
Thanks, Stephen. Right, so Rangers comfortable victory coming actually from behind in that game. Also, we got a full-time score from Cammy Bell. Comfortable victory for Motherwell over Kilmarnock this evening. Still playing. It was an 8 o'clock start. There was a delay in the first half, so still a fair bit of time to be played at Pittodrie. So the full-time scores we have: Hearts 2, St Johnstone 1. When Alan Preston brought us that full-time score, St Johnstone had hope. Then we got that Ronan Hale penalty, and that hope has been extinguished. As things stand, St Johnstone will be relegated. It's Ross County that have the lifeline, but still a couple of minutes to play up there, Cammy.
Yep, still 1-1. Dundee are pushing. They've got a corner. All the Dundee bodies forward by, apart from Garza. They're going to have to go for this now.
Do you know, I see times of the season like this, it's so nervy for everyone, managers, players and the fans.
Like 8 added minutes in Paisley.
Right, OK, we'll get back to you in a second, Rory. That's another huge match here as well, and some controversy. Speaking of refereeing controversy, some in that game time. We're trying to get an explanation from VAR HQ.
Yeah, we're not getting anything. It's
full time at Dens, 1-1.
Right, so let's have a look at that. So a couple of minutes ago, I mean, this is absolutely crazy. So a couple of minutes ago, St Johnstone had a sniff going down to the final day in the bottom half of the table. These final day fixtures are on Sunday, the top half's on Saturday. Full coverage, of course, on Sports on both days. So St Johnstone have been relegated, 32 points. Ross County have given themselves hope of avoiding that playoff spot. They're in there right now, but they are on 36 points. Dundee are on 38 points. I think Tony Docherty is going to be, as the guys have been saying, absolutely fizzing. So on Sunday, Ross County at home to Motherwell, Dundee away at St Johnstone. You've got to say now, Tom, against the St Johnstone side that are going to be completely deflated.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the only kind of consolation for Dundee, that they're going to be playing against a relegated team. But Tony Dock is going to go thermonuclear if he does a media after this. And so Johnson, when they see that penalty as well, Simo Valakari is going to go. I mean, though he doesn't go thermonuclear. He's a different personality.
Yeah.
But we're kind of a little bit lost for words here, because I don't see that as a penalty.
We felt like, I mean, the handball last season, everything that touched the hand was a penalty. It felt like we've moved in the right direction in terms of, if that ball was going towards Dundee's goal, if a Ross County player heads it and it's hit the Dundee hand, even at proximity, you could maybe get on board with it. Dundee player was just heading out the box. It was going out the box, and it's just.
Let me ask you this. If Nick Walsh, isn't it the referee? I think it wasn't. If he hadn't given the penalty,
I know what you're going to say. I don't think he goes to Cameron
doesn't overturn.
I don't think so.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, that's a huge moment. Right, we'll focus on that. We'll bring you managerial reaction. You can see Tony Docherty here in our pictures here. He's clapping the fans, but you can see his face. He is absolutely livid. I think another manager that's going to be livid tonight is the St Mirren manager, Stephen Robinson. He was shown a yellow card in Paisley because they thought they had the ultimate comeback of comebacks there, Rory Loy, but it's still very much game on.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's been actually able to see the incident for the foul that was given. And, you know, if it's a foul, it's a foul, fair enough, then, you know, that's absolutely fine. But it was the length of time the play went on to then pull it back for a foul that should have been given in the first place. The game got re-refereed. Just strange. And I think that's where the frustration will lie for Stephen Robinson, whose team have been excellent in this second half, I have to say. So Hibs started the second half well in the first couple of minutes, but after that it's been all St Mirren. They've lacked a little bit of quality in the final third at times. Obviously scored a couple of goals right at the end of the second half, first half and halfway through the second half, but you know, just not had that killer instinct to get that third goal just yet. But it's all St Mirren as we enter the last 4 minutes of the game. Yeah, and they've given themselves a sniff, albeit they're away at Celtic on Saturday, but they've given themselves a sniff of European football once again. That will be back-to-back European football campaigns for Stephen Robinson's side. They're in 49 points. United, they'll be concerned, they're in 50 points. They're at home to Aberdeen on Saturday. The Dons are in 53 points. Their goal difference is very similar, and as things stand, Hibs guaranteed third spot. They're on 57 points.
Rory, are Hibs, if they declared on the 2-2, are they, a point's obviously enough to get them third place with results elsewhere? Are they settling for the 2-2?
No, I wouldn't have said they're settling. They've played on the counter-attack the full night, Stephen. It's just in this second half, St Mirren have been a far better version of themselves, so they've struggled to get up the pitch as much. So I don't think it's a case of them wanting to settle for the draw. I just think they've been, St Mirren have been too good, and they've kept them under wraps. So Bowie's getting a bit frustrated because the ball's not coming up to him with any quality. Gale's now on the pitch, so no, I would say that Davy Gray and his Hibs side will want the 3 points. They've just simply been, outplayed in this second half, but Hibs were far better in the first half, so one would argue potentially 2-2 is fair.
What's brought about the change, Rory? Is there something tactically that Stephen Robinson has done?
Well, obviously he got them in at half time and he wouldn't have been happy. Richard O'Donoghue down this left hand side was good. I think when he made the subs as well, since he's made the subs, McMenamin's come on and done well, but Mark O'Hara in the middle of the pitch, I know he wasn't in the starting 11 tonight because the team went to Tannadice without him and won, so he had to put up with a place on the bench, but I think since he's made the substitution to changing personnel, it's just given them a little boost. O'Doghue's been really good, as I said. There's been no real tactical tweaks. I think it's just, as I said in the first half, Kenny, they couldn't get into a rhythm because of that goal that was scored initially, and then the second goal, which was ruled out, then the third goal went in to make it 2-0, and chances for St Mirren. It's in the box, strike, deflected, ping pong in the box, so it's been cleared. So yeah, I just think it's the way that the half went, but they've been much better in this second half, but it's still 2 each.
Yeah, so it's a good game there, a very comfortable victory coming along for the wayside up at Pittodrie, Willie Miller.
Yeah, it's comfortable. Aberdeen really struggling now. They've made a number of changes. Well, both teams have made a number of changes, but it hasn't really affected Celtic in a negative way. Aberdeen really struggling at this moment in time, pinned back. It's just kind of waves of attack, and Aberdeen have no answer for it. It's one across. Adam Idah he's volleyed it for the penalty spot, and fortunately it's it's right at Mitov. Otherwise, if it's anywhere else, it's taking the net off. I mean, he's got that much power behind it, and Mitov just responds to it. But Forrest is on fire down. He's playing the left hand side, coming in on his right foot. Aberdeen really struggling to cope. They've made their changes themselves, Aberdeen. They've taken off Canusta and Graham Shinney as well, so it's all changed for both sides. But Aberdeen, they're just hoping, was it 3 in the clock just now, they're hoping that they can get out of this one with nothing worse than the 4 goals against.
Yeah, as Willie said, very, very comfortable, hasn't it, Stephen?
Well, I've never seen James Forrest so central round that box looking for that goal. He's chasing in every rebound here.
He's enjoying his night. He's enjoying it.
He's definitely thinking about that goal.
Yeah, just a wee update from
Hibs have got a chance here. It's a 3-on-1. If Gogic can recover, it's a 3v2. He's trying to get back. It's Triantis. Gogic does really well, but Triantis is still going. Oh my goodness! Good save. Good save. He can't quite scramble, and it was some run, and it doesn't look like there's going to be a winner here. It is a corner to Hibs, but it's still 2 each.
He almost pulled off the impossible there. He's down on his knees in the turf there. He must be shattered after that run there, but Hibs giving it a right go there. Just a wee update from the Championship playoff final first leg. Cove Rangers 1, Airdrie 2, 85 minutes on the clock there in that. We'll bring you the full time score shortly. Just seen James Forrest in the ball again up there at Pittodrie. He's been very heavily involved this evening. We will bring you, of course, post-match reaction with many managers as we can between now and 10:30 on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland this evening.
Full time in Paisley. St Mirren 2, Hibs 2.
Right, so that is a fantastic comeback for the home side there. There were 2 goals down after just 10 minutes, but right in the stroke of half-time, that Richard Taylor goal, there was a long VAR check for offside, but that goal stood. Conor McMenamin on 64 minutes had Saints level. They thought they were in front, but again, another contentious decision there. We'll try and bring you some clarity on that. When the game at Pittodrie continues, there's an option of commentary from that one. Willie, of course, will shout out as soon as anything happens there, but Celtic cruising to victory at Pittodrie. So stay with us on BBC Radio Scotland with you in Sports Sound right through until